Broadcasting from the jungles of Southeast Asia, it is time for the Ed Namrock Podcast.
What's up, all you pimps, players, and hustlers? And I mean that because that's exactly what's been happening during this critical time in my home state of California. I can't really speak for any other state. I've only heard, I got folks in Nevada, I got folks in Arizona, I got folks in Texas, and some peeps in the East Coast, but it's been pretty interesting because a lot of new characters have surfaced. And what I mean by characters, I want to start off by giving a humongous, and I mean humongous, shout out to the homie D-Rod. His real name is Daniel Rodriguez. Who is Daniel Rodriguez, you might ask? Well, cheering for the home team here, me living in SGV and also kind of worlds intertwined with this professional UFC fighter. He's basically 13-2 right now, although he should be 14-1 in my opinion, because the last fight he had with Nicholas Dalby, if you ask me, I think the judges were smoking crack. They're hitting the scante too hard. So shout out to Daniel Rodriguez. Look out for him. He is in the welterweight division. His last fight was last Saturday, November 21st, UFC 255. I'm a big fan of D-Rod. I know I've seen him around before because I used to party in Alhambra. I still kind of do, but everything's shut down. He's a little bit younger than I am. Nonetheless, a hell of a fighter. Be sure you follow him on Instagram. I believe his handle is D-Rod, if I remember. Let me just fact check that and make sure, because it's D_Rod_UFC. And the homie is verified. So he's legit. I'm a huge fan. Mike Juarez, what's up, brother? What's up? Shout out to D-Rod. Thanks for the inspiration. A lot of the kids here are very, very inspired by you. Even us older OGs, man, we're getting there. It's good to see someone from the hometown do something with themselves and really excel. And like you said, man, this last week, the loss against Dalby, I say you run that shit back, and this is just going to turn into a fucking monster, as I'm quoting you. So shout out to D-Rod. Can't wait to see the strap on your waist soon. Proud of you, man. But before I bring on all my guests, I really wanted to spotlight something. And this is not me being a dick, but this guy just kind of like, all right, dude, like that's enough of you fuckers, man. Like this is getting out of hand. And I'll show you exactly how it started. And surprisingly, it wasn't a meme, which got me thrown in Facebook jail for like 3 days. And long story short, it was just a reshare that got me in trouble. So not the first time, because me and Facebook have had a very, very big love-hate relationship for the past 4 or 5 years, maybe even more. But let me show you what I shared. I shared this. Now, what is this? This is a tweet, a screenshot of a tweet from the notorious triple OG Ice-T. For all you youngsters, Ice-T was part of the gangster rap movement, and I say the late 80s, early 90s. The shit that I got introduced to very, very young. I was only like 9 or 10. But this is his father-in-law. I'm sure you know his wife, Coco. But Coco's dad was a serious no-masker, and COVID hit him. He got pneumonia in both lungs. He spent 40 days in the ICU, close to dying. Now he's on oxygen indefinitely. Excuse me, sorry. And he says, oh, he's a believer now. COVID is not a game. It is not a game. Absolutely. And I say this because from personal experience, it happened to me. Not me personally, but it happened to my wife. And it fucking sucks, man. Some people get hit really hard with it. Other people just, they're healthy enough to fight it. But here's what transpired after that. And this is what I've been dealing with this shit for too long already. And I remember at first I was one of these people, not so hardcore, but I didn't play it down, but I undermined it the way it should not be undermined. And I hold myself accountable and I say, fuck, that's my bad. Lesson learned. We will not be doing that again. And a comment appeared on this screenshot of the tweet. And this is what Life by Jared James commented. He commented, Ice-T says 2 + 2 = 5. Are you a believer? And I replied with, this has to be the most asinine fucking comment of the night. And it is. Like, what the fuck does he mean by this? This is stupid. And then I told him, I'm like, hey, stop being an insensitive asshole and, have some compassion for people that are fighting for the life. And my wife also contracted COVID-19 and the first 10 days sucked balls and, kiss the food you love goodbye for, if you're lucky, maybe 4 to 5 days. If you're not, if you're like her, it'll be a month. And then he goes on to reply with this, which I'm like, dude, this motherfucker, man. Like, are you serious? And I get where he's going with this. I'm like, okay, he sounds familiar. Like some of these dudes that, and I'll get to what I mean right now because I'm setting this up for something because he said, great, thanks. And can you also highlight how someone can prove that by not wearing a mask, that actually caused his illness? Okay, so from personal experience, what happened to us, yeah, we gathered with people that we always gather with. That's our bubble. We showed up maskless and disaster struck. What's the moral of the story? Don't gather so big like that, especially, and wear a mask or keep your distance or don't gather at all. It's very simple. But the static that everyone's fucking going through right now. And I don't blame you because I was one of those people. Not to say I was undermining the virus. I was basically following all the rules except for that particular day. And I dodged the bullet, but my wife didn't. So we're holding ourselves accountable. We're not doing this like all you other fucking peons that fucking just are quick to fucking blame people. That's not how this works. Hold yourself accountable, learn from it, grow from it, and that's it. Lesson learned. You win some, you lose some. That's how it is in sports. And I take it a lot of people don't play sports, so they don't get the concept. And and then it gets even more bizarre. He goes on to reply with this, and this is where I'm setting it up for you guys so you guys could know. He said, also, have you seen the COVID rates of states and countries with mask mandates? And the answer is yes. Many of them, the cases go up after mask mandates. Okay, do you know why, you stupid fucking idiot? When you tell people what to do, you tell them you can't do this, you can't do that, you must do this, they're not going to fucking do it. If you're mandating people, like my mama says, te estoy mandando. What was the first thing I would do as a kid? I would defy it. I wouldn't fucking do it. That's why that's why we're here. Here we are. No one was wearing it. I know I wasn't wearing it around my family. And look what happened to us. That's why the mandates don't work. I'm a strong believer because I was in sales for half of my life. You have to find a more clever way than fear to get people to do something for you. And there's a book. I can say this on air simply because I've had people who have served time for a long time, and they have told me about a book that is pretty much banned in the pinta, as they would say. And I keep forgetting the name of the book. God damn it, I had it right here. I was gonna share it with you guys, but as a matter of fact, I won't. I'll leave you hanging on that. If you want to find out, DM me and I'll get it for you, because I've read it, and it's basically the art of coercion and manipulation. And I read it during my sales training, and it basically made me the most, I'm not going to say narcissist because I'm not a narcissist. It made me a master closer, a master manipulator. So, hit me up for that. And that's pretty interesting stuff to read, but it's been banned in a lot of jails and prisons. So, now that's my opinion that why that's happening. And now he basically ends with this, and this is basically when I told him to, okay, dude, you've had enough. I'm going to call you out on the podcast, and this is what I'm going to tell you. And this is what he said on the reply. He said, "Cool beans. Did you know medical treatment is one of the top 5 killers in the United States? Anyway, when you go for your vaccine, be sure to ask them to give you a double dose to make sure you're really protected. Take care." Okay, he said medical treatment is one of the top 5 killers in the US. So I'm like, okay, dude, I know that's not true. So let's fact check it live on the podcast to tell this motherfucker that he is 100% wrong. And the source here is MD Links. It's a very public site. And let's start from the top. So number 10 is suicide. Number 9 is kidney disease. Let me see. Let me actually zoom in on it so you can see a little bit better. Number 8, influenza and pneumonia. Okay, now sprinkle a little bit of COVID on there. That's probably going to get up there soon if we don't take care of this shit, because even the flu we haven't gotten a grip on. And now we get this new one that we might know something about it. We might not. And people are still dying, man. So is the vaccine the end all be all? I don't think so. We have to find more information and trust the smart people, not the politicians, to make very, very critical decisions when it comes to our health. Now, number 7, diabetes. Number 6, Alzheimer's. Number 5, cerebrovascular diseases. Number 4, chronic lower respiratory diseases. Number 3, accidents and unintentional injuries. Number 2 is cancer. Number 1 is heart disease. Did anyone see medical treatment as one of the top 5 reasons causes of death in the United States? The answer is no. So this guy's full of shit. And then he went on to say that the inventor of the current test that you're taking, which is called the PCR test, it's called the polymerase chain reaction test. He went and said that the inventor of this fucking Elias, oh, bro, man, what's up? Yes, The Art of War. That's also, I don't know if people in the Pinta have been reading that, but I heard a lot of people have. Also, the Book of 3 Rings. Rest in peace to my uncle, my cousin. I don't know what to call him anymore. My pseudo cousin. He told me about all these books he wrote at, I believe, is Lompoc and Chino. So, but nonetheless, he was just throwing this stuff that I had to fact check. That the COVID-19 test is a fraud, and it turns out it's not true. It's misleading. Because the quote regarding the limitations of the current PCR test, they're not from the inventor himself. And in any case, it's not evidence that the test is fraudulent. Just to let you guys know, if you guys run into this disinformation, which is a lot of it on the internet. And but the PCR tests are being widely used in the UK, for example, to show that SARS COVID-2 viral genetic material is present in the patient. So it's working for COVID-19, which is also a form of SARS, which I believe also it's a form of the common cold. But ultimately, he had a website, and I went on it. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, you're one of these fuckers. This is what he is. He's a QAnon fucking dick writer. All this shit. This is his website, truthvendor.com. He's talking about the Kraken release that the Trump legal team is going to drop info nukes at press conference. I saw the press conference. That lady right there got fired for being too conspirator. Now the new shit with Giuliani and Michael Flynn, that shit's going to be under investigation. So Donald Trump is not even hiding his corruption. Now, let me just say this about Joe Biden. Don't let him fool you either. The reason I say this is if you've known magicians, I know them personally. When they have you look at the right hand, keep your peripheral. Don't look at the left hand, but make sure you're keeping an eye peripherally at the left hand. What I say peripherally, you're looking at the right hand, but you're not directly looking at the left hand, but you can see it if you know what I'm talking about. That's what you're supposed to be fucking doing, because the minute you look, the right hand is going to do something else. It's called the art of deception. And it's fucking beautiful. And look at this motherfucker. He's talking about, okay, the human trafficking thing. I known about this for a long time. It's no fucking secret. But the whistle on elite pedophiles, okay, the only elite pedophile that's been publicly fucking shamed and got caught and could pretty much throw under the bus is not alive to tell about it. And that's something I did a podcast on. So I can't disagree with that. I'm not going to bash on that. But this whole thing with Giuliani, he revealed shocking evidence of voter fraud in the 2020 election. And me going down that rabbit hole, I was like, God damn, these people are too sober for this shit, man. Seriously, because a lot of it is not even real video, man. And I was like, shit, dude, I'm reading all this. And look, he's got pictures of Biden. So then I wanted to send them the link. And he blocked me from fucking Instagram. So that's how that ended. So what's up, Marrero? Seems like I tuned in at the right time. Yes, you did, because it is the right time for me to bring on my confidants, my friends, even my former students, man. This is crazy for me to say. But a little bit of background on Chuux and Skooba. I know Chuux is Larry, but I'll call him Chuux. It's short for Chuco. We'll explain what that means for all my white friends. But nonetheless, Skooba and Chuux have been part of my life for quite some time. I mean, they've been around for a while, and they never stopped coming around. They never peeped out. They never hid. They've always been transparent. They've always had a goal in mind for what they want to do in life, and they've achieved it. And now they are owners of Sound Olympus. And it's like East LA Commerce. So, it's a very VIP, very exclusive fraternity of studios. I'm kidding. But be sure you inquire with both of them, because they're very good at what they do. I've seen it with my own eyes. Please welcome Chuux Barbosa and the homie.
It's funny.
What's up, fellas?
What's up?
Hey, good to have you guys on. I mean, I had Skooba on last week, and we just scratched the surface, Larry. We're like, fuck, we were missing you on the podcast. And I'm like, God, dude. And then when we went offline, I was like, we need to run it back. We need to get Chuux. We need to get Larry on the podcast, and then just completely, I guess, kind of start off where we left off. But we'll give it a little bit of context to the people who are listening. And Chuux, thanks for joining us, man. Skooba, thank you again. I hope you're feeling okay.
Yeah.
I know it's this whole thing is tough, but the one thing I'll start with Larry. What would you prefer, Larry or Chuux? I mean, because obviously the Chuux thing, we got to give it a little bit of background to the homies here watching. But It's only like I guess like a Latino Mexican Chicano thing. Everyone knows what Chuco means. It's short for Chuco. How did you get that nickname though? I never asked you that. Oh, Larry, we can't hear you, man. What happened?
You're muted.
Are you muted? Hold on, let me remove him and put him back on. Let's see. How about now? Say something. Check your mic settings on the thing.
Fucking engineer.
I'm surprised it all works, bro. That's what fucking Neil used to say. But go down to cam and mic and then just fuck with the audio settings. This is something I always go through on this fucking browser, but
It's like
I'm surprised it all works.
or something.
Because you're on your phone now, Skooba.
No, I'm on the laptop.
Not yet, Larry. Not yet. If you want, exit the podcast and then come back in, and it'll probably re-up. That usually works for people. Like actually get out and then come back in. Yeah, he'll come back in. How you feeling, Skooba? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm looking at your background. What is that? Like a city?
Oh, so it's I have a few. So let me see if I can minimize this shit down so you can see it.
Yeah, that was dope.
In some way. This is what it is. I guess we gotta like remove people from the actual screen to check it out. But it's a cityscape, and I'm sure. I mean, you know about photography.
Yeah, that's what I was looking. I'm like, I like how they did that.
Yeah,
that was dope. Yeah.
And
I'm feeling good though. I had a headache earlier, just pressure, and that's about it.
All right, test.
There you go. Chuux is back. That's all it is, bro. We're back.
See, we're engineers. We figure it out.
Exactly, bro. No, but like we were saying, I mean, how did you get the nickname Chuux?
Well, straight up, like hip hop was a big influence in my life, graffiti and all that. But when you're dealing with the streets, you sometimes take it to another level, and that was a bit different period in my life. You know what I mean? The name just kind of stuck, Chugo. I heard a friend just call me Chuux one time, and then it kind of just stuck from there.
That's awesome, and it's funny because how we should really vibe with each other, because you're OC. And we're LA County, we're Dodger fans, you're an Angel fan. And it was like a very, I know people from Anaheim, I know people from Santa Ana, I know people as far as Tustin and Costa Mesa, but the ones I really vibed with all the time was all the homies from Anaheim, because I would always see them at the same bars in Anaheim off of State College, right there off the freeway exit. And back then it was, we would go to the In-N-Out right there at the shopping center and just kind of bar hop, whatever it was right there. But it was, they were speaking the same lingo. And that's when I met you, and I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Basically it's like a segue, bro, like that. Just two different bridges, same fucking pathway, man. But yeah, I was interested to know how you got that nickname, because the way you spelled it, a lot of people were pronouncing it as Chuux. I'm like, no, it's Chuux. It's W. And now that you brought it to my attention, I was like, it makes sense now. But fuck, hey, mystery solved, bro. Mystery solved. But as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, Chuux is actually at the studio, as was Skooba last week.
Yeah.
And the only difference is the movie's not playing in the background. So
oh, I know the hateful
Chuux, Skooba didn't know that. I forgot what movie was playing in the background, but I could hear it faintly.
Hateful Eight.
During the most dynamic parts.
Hateful Eight. Oh, it's probably that one awkward part where it's like he's about to do that fucking. He's all telling him what he made his dad do or something.
Oh shit! No, I forgot what he was, and then he was breaking some flour, and I remember seeing him roll like a fucking pro, dude. I'm like, and he basically was talking and doing it like this, and I'm just going like this, going, this motherfucker, man. It's like second nature. It's like basically like
it's second nature, and we see it a lot at the studio too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of second nature. But yeah, man. Yeah, hey, thanks for having us.
No, absolutely. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk. Yeah, I wanted to talk to both of you about this because it's funny because as soon as I started kind of like plug in the studio, a lot of the young cats are like, oh, I'm looking for studio time. Oh, I'm looking for studio time. And I'm like, look, I'm very professional with this, and I want to refer you to them, but you must hear that from them, what their policies are, what type of payment they take. I want the both of you, I'll start with you, Larry, with Chuux. I want you to tell people watching, because I know I got some people on YouTube watching. What is it what are the expectations that you set from the moment you get the phone call, the DM, to the time from the final master delivery? Like, how is it that you guys run the studio from the phone call, the DM, or the text to the final delivery?
Okay, so I try to make it very easy for them, and I give them tips on how they could be saving money. So when they come here, they utilize the time wisely and everything. And I tell them all the same thing. Hey, it doesn't matter if it's your first song, because I've had like artists that have been recording for years, and then I really got people that's the first time stepping into a studio. I'm like, hey, it doesn't matter if it's your first time. If you follow these easy steps, you'll get somewhere. And I break it down like this. I'm like, first of all, one of the biggest ones is if you're using the studio for recording purposes, you're not going to write your song here. Practice the song. That's my number one. Practice the song so much that you don't need a paper, because there's a fluidity that comes out when you're recording your song. It just flows better. You're quicker to it. You're more happier with the takes. It's quicker. You just saved yourself like so much time. So it gives me more time to mix. Here's the thing that I tell people, which leads to the next thing. I'm only gonna mix like this is just one way I go about payments and stuff like that, is that I learned it's better to work by the hour. And let me tell you why it works for me. It's because I'm only working as much money as you put in, and I'm not gonna work like 8 hours mixing a song if I'm only getting paid for one. Like, we could do 8 hours of mixing, and you'll go. Me and Skooba will go. You'll see us clicking buttons. We're tinkering with it. We're messing with it, and we'll get that sound. But yeah, first and foremost is have your thing done. Okay, boom. Second of all, bring your beats, whatever, in a flash drive. Come prepared with these little things that you might need to transfer this, transfer it back. Like boom, boom, boom. Sometimes we got like 3 computers going off at the same time right here at the studio, because I got my computer running, they got their laptop running, and then they're exporting from the producers, and we're passing it back and forth. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just constant. So come prepared. Come little things. Come have eaten. Don't come hungry. Whatever. Certain things to help you get in your zone. Now, I will say this: some people like a little smoke, a little drink. There's nothing wrong with that. But as soon as that interferes with your work, you're messing with your work. That you're messing. It becomes a nuisance. So there's a thin line. But it's these little things. If you come prepared and everything, I've had artists come. It's their first time, and I could tell they practice. Like, you know what I mean? And I tell them, like, hey, I could tell you practice. That's good. Like right now, I'm gonna utilize this time right now to do a lot more mixing and mastering, because a lot of the work is in the mix. I'm gonna start to do a lot of the work in the mix, and then give you a solid product by the time you're done with it.
So that's awesome, because I had to break this down to a lot of. I mean, you guys were there at one point where you guys were new to it. You guys are very, very green, but you guys got to dive in and make your mistakes and learn from them, and pass that shit on to what you guys are doing now. And I find myself now basically educating a lot of the young aspiring, whether they're rappers or, music producers, beat makers, whatever the one they call themselves. I tell them, look, there's a lifestyle that gets really romanticized with this culture of not only hip hop but rock and roll too, man. Rock and roll is not exempt. It's just as glamorous, man. It's just as romanticized. And I'm like, you can't get caught up on it. Yes, you dabble, that's fine. But the minute it becomes more important than what your end goal is for your art, for your work, for your self-worth, then that's when you have to reanalyze and check yourself about what is it that you really want. Do you just want to party? You want to get to work. And I don't know. Have you guys ever had someone like that in the studio that you're like, hey man, you need to come back when you're not too fucked up. You need to come back when you're sober. Have you guys ever dealt with that?
Oh yeah. That's why I told you last week. Some motherfuckers are dirty out here, bro. Like you'd be surprised. Yeah. But it's cool though, because like once you kind of check them and shit, they come back the next time proper. Like for instance, what was it last like two weeks ago? Chuux shot me a client. This was from not Jersey, from where that fool J. Cole's from. Whatever city he's from. I remember. I don't remember where, but he specifically said where that fool's the same neighborhood.
Yeah. I think East Coast cat. I know they're all from the East Coast.
Somewhere out there. So like he was right there. And he's like, oh, is it cool if I like spark up? I'm like, yeah, cool. Me thinking it's trees or some shit. I'm right here getting the lips prepared and I started smelling. I'm like, oh, smells good, kind of strong. Maybe it's like a backwood or something. And then about like 2-3 minutes go by. I'm like, wait, that shit sounds like tobacco. I turn around, this fool's smoking a straight Black and Mild right behind Larry. That
no.
And I just said like, hey, bro, like, and he's like, oh my nigga, hey man, so we can't blah blah blah. I'm like, nah, don't do that outside.
Gotta do that outside, man.
But see, it's cool because it's all like they'll come at it at first way, not knowing and shit really what's up.
Yeah,
when you talk to them and let them know the get down. The next time they come more proper, and then they'll come more helpful and all that. But I guess it's kind of like people at some studios don't care. So like, oh yeah, smoke up, do whatever you want. So if you when routine at one studio, you'll want to hop on to the next.
Yeah,
but everybody has their own set of rules. Like with us, like Chuux just explained everything, bro. So it's like, all it really is just like every time a new person comes in and they have their own background where they come from. You kind of just got to meet on neutral grounds. But for the most part, most people who come in are always like just anxious or more nervous or like hyped up.
Interesting. Okay.
Like Chuux was saying, you have the dude, it's his first time, but you can tell he's a little nervous and he'll be on the mic, be like, yeah, but you can tell it's his first fucking try and shit. So then he comes back the next time as an example, and then he's doing more better. You could hear he got his little juice flowing, his comfortability and shit. It's kind of like meeting somewhere for the first time or going into any new job. You got to get used to meeting the whole crew, and once you're all cool and clicked up, you're kind of happy to go to work rather than being all on your toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you because I've seen it with I saw it with both of you when that's reminiscent of what used to be. Because Chuux, we were talking about Pinnacle College last week, and how there was a lot of things that, for example, I went through the 9-month program, which only offered a certificate, but they squeezed a lot of information in those 9 months. And if you're very new to it, that is not enough time for you to absorb all of that. Hence the program that both of you graduated from. And, I actually have some type of credential, which is awesome because I don't have that. And seeing the both of you basically go through, man, you guys went through some shit. Seriously. Like I saw all the flaws because I came later. I remember Skooba was kind of timelining this for me. You guys started in March. And and I came around May, approximately 2 months later. And you guys were basically like my cohort, like you guys were my students. And it's funny because I was talking to the homegirl Denise about this, and she's like, "Man, be sure you talk shit about what could have been." And this, I'm like, "Man, I have so much bone to pick with that business, but I mean, it's gone and buried. So now I'm open to talk about it. But I will say this because it's public, and this is the fucking creepiest shit ever, and I'm gonna share this with you guys. Do you guys remember we had I think it was like not a vice president, but there was a blonde lady that would come from Sacramento and basically survey the whole campus. She was fairly new. She was the one that had to basically axe Dan Heck. I don't know if you guys remember her. Her name was Chris Pedretti.
I don't.
Remember that? Okay, well, she was the new head bitch in charge, right, for a while. And, you know, some like, just like any other position, some like her, some didn't like her, whatever. But nonetheless, she was brought in to at least kind of, you know, patch some holes in the sinking ship, as I like to say, Chuux. You know, the ship was sinking, bro. You know, you can't just throw buckets out of water. You know.
Can I ask you a question? Because you were from the inside, and I had my own philosophy where it kind of went down, but like, at what point did it go like? What point was it like the last thing where it killed it? Like, or what person or what caused that last thing coming from the inside? Because we had our own idea from the outside. But it's just speculation, you know what I mean?
Right.
But if you could give us that closure, that'd be great.
Let me ask you this question, and I'll tell you if you're right or not. What did you speculate? What was going on?
Basically, that the school tried to go online, and that's where it failed.
That was one thing. That was out of maybe three.
Okay.
And what wound up happening was this, and I shared this with Skooba last week. When I got the job, Larry, Stephen Kimball, do you guys remember him? The old director of career services, skinny guy. He played bass. Really clean cut dude.
Yeah.
I think you guys barely got to know him because he was already on his way out. He had found another job, and of course, I was the first one to get referred to it right away, and I got the job. I literally had to quit my other job that day and start Monday. It happened so fast. And he basically told me, Chuux, he's like, hey, man, you have about 2 years here. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, give maybe 2 years. There's some things happening with the school, but, we brought you in because we thought maybe you can be a contributor to the school at both levels, both campuses. I was like, both campuses? Like, what the fuck? And it didn't happen like that. It went from, that was 2014. It was about 2.5 years almost. And the first thing I noticed, Larry Chuux, was I got to meet the owner's son, the owner of Pinnacle. And I was like, oh shit, this is the problem right here. Cool guy offline, bro. Like I could kick it with the dude, but he reminded me so much of Donald Trump Jr., bro. Like it was that bad, very condescending. He would talk down to people. Had the right philosophies, didn't know how to apply them. I understood them, but he was one of those dudes where he would host a meeting for himself and you were just a spectator, not get you involved. He was one of those guys.
Okay.
And then he would ask he would check in with you to see if you were actually chiming in and stuff like that. But no one gave a shit, man. I mean, one person gave a shit. It was me, but I was, me, I'm very brazen with people. If I have to cut you off because you're taking too much of my fucking time, no disrespect. I'm just going to tell you, I'm like, hey, wrap it up, son. I got to go. Boom. But, I would tell them that in a very diplomatic way. So that was one problem there, Chuux. There was one. That was the first one. The second one was the program itself, the music production and recording arts program. Great layout. It was written by three of the most grandiose curriculum writers. And to this day, one of them is still writing curriculum for Musicians Institute, and that's Carter. Shout out to Carter. But you guys remember Carter
the
is
professor of the professor of the compressor was his nickname.
Exactly. And fuck, man, to this day I still come to him for just to check my head with different
Hey, shout out to Carter for sure. Hey, you know what? As a matter of fact, can I give the shout out to a few of the people at Pinnacle College?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
First of all, let me shout you out. Here's the cool people that I always love. I had love for pretty much everybody. I didn't hate anybody. Everything was cool. But there were certain teachers that really stuck with me. Like there was a Mesta, TJ. Yeah. There was name a few. Skooba. Name a few.
Justin.
Like
Dan Reynolds. Fucking
Dan Reynolds. You got a big job too.
Neil.
Neil's the craziest motherfucker to this day. He's the only teacher ever who's just like a mad scientist, just coming out of the street and driving the window every morning.
All of them. They were all cool in their own way. Brian the Lion. Who else was there?
Even that one dude I remember I walked in the studio at B one morning with like 2 chorizo burritos. It's like, hey, you can't eat him. And I'm like,
Brian. Hey, Brian, you remember Brian came in late? And so by then the class already had developed their, like who they liked. He came late, and on the first day, our class chewed him out completely. Like not chewed him, they're just like completely like, he walked in with the burrito, and the first thing he tells them all is like, oh, you can't eat that in there. He just walks right by him like, oh, yeah. I'm still eating, like everybody was just going off. Like he didn't know what to do that first day. He's cool though, everybody settled down. But that first day initially, like he got thrown way off like by everybody.
I was childish too. I was still like 20, 19 or some shit. So I was still young.
This is almost 7 years ago going, man.
And then for the people that helped me out, actually, like you that was in the front office, there was who was also a big part of this too. There's 2 guys, Anton and Antoine. Yeah. I'm talking about the dude that was from where was he from?
Either India or Singapore, one of those two. Yeah.
One of those two.
Yeah. And then the other one is Israeli. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the one from like India or had that dude. So check this out. I was supposed to sign up for the night class, and I was supposed to work construction during the day. Then they throw me this curveball like, oh, there's not enough people for the night class. So then I had to quit my job, and like a bunch of things just came, and then I just saw him trying to figure out my head, and he could see it, and then he's like, hey, man, it's never going to get easier. No matter what you do in life, if you have goals, you think that, you're going to wait for a time where it's never going to get easier. You got to figure it out and just do it right then and there. You got to do it right then and there. Like you said, the program was 2 years. That's 2 years that I had to figure out how to get from Orange County to damn near Pasadena every day. You know what I mean? And I always reflect on this because I know, like, me and Homeboy and me and a few people, like, we had no money in our gas tank. We barely had lunch. You know what I mean? We're eating that Costco pizza. I can't even tell you how many times we went to get Costco pizza and we got sick.
Costco pizza and Wendy's.
Wendy's, like, I mean, it's, it's all good. It's these things kind of, make you like, because I remember I'm like, man, I can't wait till the day I know all this audio knowledge so I could do something. Now here I am, during COVID. Who was my main bread maker? Right here, I'm sitting on it. You know what I mean? Who kept my sanity? Who gave me a sanctuary? Like this fucking place, this knowledge that I acquired at this place. And I do know there's some animosity about the program and everything. Of course there is.
I had animosity.
Of course there is. I have animosity, but listen, if that's what you're looking for, that's what you're gonna find. Yeah. Whatever you're looking for, you're gonna find. I used what I can from there. I used a lot of the skills. We got the whole program. Me and Homeboy, we got the whole program, still the digital program, so we could break into it. we could the whole course. We got like sample libraries. All the sample libraries are on those computers.
I'm gonna take off to Idaho and just start my own school. Shit, I got the whole course.
It was basically like the sacred text, bro, that a lot of people had, and we still reminisce about that. But the biggest bone to pick I had with the program is they would not let me take classes after work. Did you know that? I asked, I'm like, hey, I did the 9-month here and I work here. Can I just come to school here? They told me no.
Yeah.
And that was like, what the fuck?
That's a red flag.
Associate.
That would be.
I knew why now, because I knew that, you know, I was not going to be able to complete the program and be one of those people that was in that meeting in January talking about the teach out. And you guys had already finished the program by then. I think you guys are the last ones that made it through that threshold, right?
No, correct.
We were one of the main classes, one of the main last classes that got the full Pinnacle experience. Because I remember watching the classes right behind us, they were just cutting shit off and like axing people. Yeah. But our class was surprisingly big, and you know, there's fluctuations, but compared to the other classes, because some of the other classes like 3 or 4 people, but ours remained pretty large. And I liked it. There was like I like that there was a collage of like different personalities there. It was, you know what I mean? It wasn't.
And when I first started there, my impression wasn't great, bro. Like, you know, maybe starting to work there, because the minute I walked in to the double glass doors and you see the sign Pinnacle College downstairs, you go down to the basement. I seen. I don't know if you guys remember Stephen Medlin. I forgot what remember bald kid, it was always scratching his head but make dope beats. He was in Philip Rivera's class.
I think so.
Remember Philip, bearded Philip?
Yeah,
this is the class before you guys.
Philip. No, he was before us. Yes.
Yeah. He spit on the fucking sign and said, "Fuck this school." And this is my first day going into work.
Oh shit.
And I was like, "Oh fuck, okay, this can't be good." And then as I slowly learned the dynamic of the class, I'm like, oh, so you guys are being basically tossed left and right, and you guys are getting classes rescheduled, exams rescheduled. But I told them, like, look, man, this is a private institution. You paid cash for it. You took out loans. It's not a public school. Just roll with the punches if you can. If not, just retake the course because you can. Because I don't even know why they weren't disclosing that for a while, because I forgot what they were called. They weren't called retakes. Like, you can actually, if you weren't about to pass the class, you guys know this better than I do. They gave you a grace period for re-entry or something like that, where you can just make up that class in a certain amount of time and you would just start the next term. I know Skooba did that because he left and came back.
Yeah, they had some of those things. I was able to, for the most part, keep up with all of that, so I never dipped into that area. There was a part when I started interning, where it got kind of a little sketchy, and that's probably one of the classes I wanted to be part of the most, because Mesta was teaching it. Yeah, and it was like the mastering class. And then I was like over here interning though at the same time, because I felt a little bit of pressure on myself, you know what I mean, to try to make, you know what I mean, make something happen.
But respects to both of you, man. I was telling this to Skooba last week. Out of all the people that I knew during that time that I worked there, you two always took my advice when I told you, hey, don't rely on the school, especially me, to guarantee you any work, because I'm not, you know, because I'm just going to show you the way and just go. But I also told you, hey, get motherfuckers in the studio if you can, and don't tell me I didn't see nothing. I mean, the cat's out of the bag. Everyone did this shit. I know I did. I would make money off that fucking studio, dude, by bringing people in. And that's something
I forgot who it was. They actually kicked us out the studio one time, and I was like, "Motherfucker, we're paying right here." He was like, I forgot who the fuck it was. Damn, someone. We were in Studio A. I remember it was me. I forgot who it was.
Oh, really?
They straight walked in because they had like some shit to like record.
Oh, a teacher. It was a teacher, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a teacher kicked a teacher was running their session. Was running one of their sessions. Yes, this is a true story. One of their sessions, and they kicked this dude out the studio.
They kicked me out. In my head, I'm like, full, like I'm paying it. Like, look, like going back to everything I know now, like I probably would have just like had a restraining order, because not that I would have done anything like physically or nothing like that, just because I would have really put them on the spot, like talk some shit like, nah, fuck you get the fuck out of here, bro. What are you? I don't care if you're a teacher, you're a grown man. Like I'm paying for this shit. All they were doing was making money, like you said. They had a session like, oh, this little fool don't even know what the fuck he's doing. Hey, fool, get out of here. It's like he's playing on me. And I was like, what the fuck? So this is kind of like at like maybe a couple months before the shit was all done. Because that's when we kind of had an idea what to do when we walked in the studio.
Yeah.
Most of these people watching, if you put on an SSL board, most of us now, it's a little foggy.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about it. So compared to when we're back then finally getting into our, we know how to do this, and we started getting like booted, I was just like, oh, that's crazy and shit. I even forgot which other teacher, they actually freaking had us do their whole session that they had to do anyway. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was I had a couple of people that I handpicked that had to graduate. I know you guys are still in school, and I actually paid them to run my session, and I would just produce the whole thing. You know, everyone knew this was kind of like a unwritten rule, unwritten law that, you know, there's a reason why you're booking studio time, and it's, you know, it's to basically get your hustle on, dude. I mean, I would literally, because I had keys, sometimes I wouldn't leave there till like 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And I remember one time, and I forgot who I let in. I don't know if it was one of you guys or one of the classes, but I had to reset the cameras in the surveillance so I wouldn't get in trouble letting people in after hours. Yeah, that's but right. It's because I told the person to come, hey, you really want to get you want to get down with an actual perfect stranger that you don't know, and you're gonna run a session. This is your first test, and this person basically wound up doing big things, and this person found out the studio recording wasn't for him, so he took a different journey into video editing. He said, I'd rather be doing that than audio because he's a visual learner. He's not an auditory learner. But props to him. I still talk to him. I got into the same thing. I got into video editing too.
Yeah, we all do.
Well, it's crazy because I was telling Skooba that's one of the programs that I was pushing to at least introduce how to do basic video importing, cutting, and exporting for your demo reels and any kind of demonstration that you're going to showcase. And man, it was one year out the other because I knew already that second thing that I was telling you about was too big of a factor to even, like, it was a juggernaut. You weren't going to stop it. But the third one, Chuux, was they wanted that program to go 100% online. And I looked at them, I'm like, you guys are smoking crack, dude. No. That's like saying I'm going to teach you how to grapple, how to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu on a computer with no person there with you.
Be like grappling this, like,
it's gonna be like one of those fucking weird fetish videos, bro, with the OnlyFans and shit. I was like, no, man, no, it's not gonna work.
That's not gonna work.
Yeah, but fuck, it was so reminiscent last week and right now. But this brings me to the next segment that I wanted to kind of, like, you know, now I'm gonna start tickling you guys' fucking brains, bro, so that way I can get some answers, because we didn't really dive in last week, and Skooba's like, he's like, bro, he's like, dude,
we going in.
We haven't even dove in, but
pinnacle, clinical, cynical.
I'll highlight this question, and you guys know better than I do, because we're kind of like, we're not worlds apart, but we're not too. I'm already getting to OG status, but you guys are like not even there yet. You guys are tipping the iceberg. You guys are what, late 20s?
This was
in my early 30s. I'm a young OG.
Fuck, man. And Skooba, you're late 20s, right?
Nah, I'm only 21.
He hates to admit it.
He's 19, bro.
He still thinks he's in pinnacle on his first term.
Oh my god! When fucking what was her name? When Heather? Did you guys have Heather or Jessica already in the front desk?
Jessica, Heather, and Jessica, I think.
Oh yeah, because Heather was already on her way out.
Yeah,
she moved
somebody. Yes, so Jessica took over for somebody, and I do remember somebody there. I can't really put a face.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is I still reminisce with Lisa about all this shit because I still talk to her too. So
that's cool. Yeah.
Everyone had the biggest crush on her, bro. Everyone always crushing on that lady. Huh? That place is historic because her father-in-law is the one that started the program back in North Hollywood. Dude.
I know.
Mr. Brian Inglesby, yeah.
She was actually trying to help us. That was dope. Shit, I mean,
yeah, she. I mean, as cute as she is, man, fucking, she had a genuine fucking heart that you can tell right away. You're like, okay, yeah, no bullshit with this lady, which is cool, man. To this day, man, like
she had to like leave or something too, and then like some other person,
yeah.
And they weren't cutting it, and then she came back and it was like, fuck yeah, like about time and shit.
Because of that reason that I just explained, and she left only because she's like, okay, she thought it was the boat was gonna sink earlier, so she hopped off, but then we were basically waving the white flag, going, help us, like what the fuck. Yeah. And basically it was the last resort to have her make the school a little bit more money before it shut down, and the rest was just. I think it was her trying to find things that rightfully belong to her because she's the rightful heir of her husband, Ken, who was Brian's son. They probably had to come down before everything got auctioned and said, hey, you can't take this, you can't take that.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, because Brian Inglesby had a mic collection there somewhere, which I never found. I don't know where it's at. That was at least $37,000.
Probably in Aton's room with all the crazy.
Or fucking buried in the other buildings that we want to go do impulse responses on.
Hey, not on this one, but we got to plan that soon. I know a lot of people like all that. Yeah, I got some spooky shit. Like,
well, okay, well let's get to this question because I know Chuux wants to dig into. So, and this is something that I'm very involved in and kind of educating young minds now because I am in education now, public education to be exact. So the question is, Chuux, do you think social media has resulted in more benefits than negatives, or the alternative? Like, has it basically been a good thing, a bad thing, or has it been like a plan B, like, oh, we got this, right? But what are the advantages to social media? And of course, what are the disadvantages? Like, in your opinion, give me your experience. How has it been an advantage for you and a total fucking disadvantage? You're like, fuck, this sometimes doesn't work, or sometimes, basically it's flaccid, bro, like a limp dick, bro. That's basically what I could say. Like, in your opinion, how has it benefited you?
Okay, so just like anything, you know, using the right context, if you use a tool right, like if you use a hammer, you can build a house. You know what I mean? Just as well as you could bash somebody in the head over it with. It's the context in which you use it. Social media has been a big thing, I think, for me, for artists, for the studio, for just everything. You're able to get your music out, your product out to like people that might not, be right here. Like for example, even music as an artist, your music might be streaming in Switzerland for God knows whatever reason. And I've seen it with a few artists where, they got on their thing, it maps out where they're getting the most streams. And you're looking at it like, why? For whatever reason. But guess what? Those strangers are supporting your music more than some of your loved ones, is the reality of it. And so it's like, it's important to get it to those people because those people around you are not always going to be buying your stuff directly. Or so it's now with the social media, you can get out to the whole world now. Even though there is disinformation with the internet and all these social media platforms, of course, it's provided a lot more awareness where, now, regardless of anything, regardless of what political party or what you think, this or that, whatever it could be, I just like that people are concerned, whether they're wrong. I love hearing it. I could you know what I mean? That's not like, you know what I mean? Like, politics could go a bunch of places, but me, I take no sides, and I just like that. The fact that now people care. Now there's awareness. Now, whether you're wrong, I'm not going to discuss that with most people, but I like that, it's awareness. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I believe it's for the better. I really do. It's, it's brought a lot of people together, communities, things to do. Even this only, you know, it's running on based on that. That's great. That's a way to, you know, talk, reminisce, you know.
Yeah. For example, I remember, and this is going back to, I think 2014, 2015. You were the first one to write on the whiteboard, hands up, don't shoot. Remember that? I remember you were the one that wrote it on the whiteboard. This was, I think, when it was in Mike Bake. That was it. Was the kid's name that got murdered in by the police in St. Louis? Not St. Louis, in Ferguson, Missouri. I forget his name, but this was 6 years ago.
So many names to remember.
Yeah, of course. And what was it?
Wasn't it Mike Brown?
Mike Brown, yes. And the minute I heard about it, yes, thank you, Anthony. It is Mike Brown. Yes, the minute I heard about it, I heard it on Facebook. I heard it. I read all about it on Twitter. I read all about it on Instagram, and I'm thinking, oh, it's not, you know, it's not as impactful as it should be. I'm like, what's going on? And then you get the drift over to the West Coast. And the first thing I see was the whiteboard, and no one knew what the fuck they were talking about. And I had to explain to the entire staff what that meant and what it's all about. So there was a lot of doubt at first, like, oh, what is it? It's some type of like, they thought it was gang related. And I'm like, well, in a sense it is, because if you want to categorize, you know, police into a gang category, you technically can, with the mentality that's currently going on, and the forecast is just not very bright. It's kind of stormy, and I had to fucking tell them. And then they went on social media and they're like, oh shit, this happened. I'm like, yes, man, and it's not looking good. There's civil unrest. And man, Chuux, I thought that was just the tip. I knew that was just the tip of the iceberg, because of course Trayvon Martin happened too. And then fast forward, and, you know, also a lot of things happen in LA, a lot of things happen in Orange County. And then this is something I was discussing with Skooba last week, where you had mentioned a word, Chuux, that I have never heard before. And I had to turn to social media to find out what the fuck it was. And I remember you I'm sure you remember, Chuux. You're like, dude, that's what we have, injunctions where I live. And I'm like, what the fuck is an injunction? And you're like, oh, Edgar, let me tell you, bro. And I'm like, what? And the minute you started talking about it, I'm just like, wait a minute. You can't go here because you live in this area, because the district attorney from there sued the neighborhood gang, so you wouldn't leave the premises. Is that how I'm understanding? And you're like, yeah, and we get fucking harassed by the police department, and this is what it is. And I'm like, okay, let me go research this first. And lo and behold, I was like, holy shit, this is basically like District 9, dude.
Yeah,
it's like District 9, like the fucking movie. And
you know what? Yes,
man.
Yes, and see, that's the thing about it. It's like it is just like District 9, because some people don't get to see this. You know, one of my bestest friends, like one day he was here, and then the next day, he grew up his whole life here. You know what I mean? The next, he gets arrested for something small, something petty, and you know, the next thing you know, he's over there. And it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, wait, what? Like, and family members, friends. And I'm like, what that? Like, is this normal? Like they're just grabbing people and sending them away. Like, you know, people that, you know, I was just like, I started tripping out, and then the injunctions, and then the lines. And then I'm like, does anybody see what's going on here? Like, this whole police state, this whole, like, you know, I mean, all of this stuff going on is like, it's like we could always see it leading up to something, you know what I mean? We knew this is coming. This you could tell was coming from miles away. All this stuff that's been coming up and everything is like very easy to spot, like, you know what I mean? So
well, because it's been around for the longest fucking time. You know, I mean, tracing it back to and I'm sure you guys have heard this story. And as a kid, you know, growing up as a Dodger fan and not knowing the dark fucking truth of the Chavez Ravine, I didn't find this out to my adult life, man. Where I didn't know that from Brooklyn to LA, you know, in order to construct the entire stadium, they had to pull the entire, like, there's a ton of Chicanos that lived at the Chavez Ravine. I didn't know that. And they were just forcing him out of their fucking homes, man, just to build the stadium. And I'm just like, wait a minute. I'm like, okay, if that was going on back then, that's kind of like the gentrification that's happening now. And I'm like, so it's always been formulated. That's when I read more about, you know, what gentrification is, how it works, how it starts, how it's funded. And then how systemic racism is actually, dude, that thing that's been around for a long fucking time. And people think I'm crazy I'm like, no, I go, there's a reason why you didn't get to go to a 4-year university, because this. And I went on about it and they were just like, whoa, what the fuck? I'm like, yes, man. I'm like, that's the reality of it. I go, but your buddies in Santa and fucking what's that city over by Costa Mesa? Irvine, your buddies in Costa Mesa, your buddies in Tustin, they were all going to Mater Dei. They were all going to fucking maybe what's that other Long Beach Poly? Who knows, man? And this is the reason why. And again, I thank social media for having me find these things out. But nonetheless, man, it's like there's a downfall to this shit. And especially with this disinformation thing that I was talking about at the beginning. And but at the same time, like, for example, I look at some of Skooba's feeds on his Instagram, and you know, for me, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, for me, I like critical thinking shit. I always have. You guys know me. And with Skooba, I think you had shared something about that the world is not valued in monetary compensation. It's not valued in money. It's valued in energy. And I'm a firm believer in that. And in a non, uber religious way, like, you know, kind of evangelistic. I'm talking about a vibration that the three of us know, man. We all know frequencies from the lowest hertz to the highest. And there's always something in between that really just kind of just puts everything together. And it's true, man, because I'll give you an example, Skooba. One time in Studio A at Pinnacle, I had a young girl that was tracking vocals. And remember how we used to sidechain kick drums that were actually acoustic into a signal generator and open a gate and stuff like that with the sub? Well, of course, you got to initialize the sub, right? So I hit I think it was Chuux. I hit a 35 hertz sub on the signal generator, and we were in Studio A. Remember that big equator system, right? Well, that frequency made her freak out, man, in the studio. She started crying and frantic, and she ran out. I was like, holy shit. And then I talked to her. She said, oh, I don't know what that was, but it triggered my PTSD of the one time I got raped with this guy.
Oh, what the?
And I'm like, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't mean to do that. Like, hey, but, you know, chill out. We're in the studio. Like, you freaked everyone out. And now we have to take a break. But she's like, whatever you did, it made me feel really scared and anxious, and I freaked out. And I'm like, I'm scratching my head. She was going, okay, well, I can't. How do I explain this to someone that will probably experience that in the studio or in any other type of like scenario? But then that's when I started studying binaural waves, binaural beats, all those brain waves, the deltas, the gammas, the betas, the alphas. And that's when it made sense. And when Skooba shared that on his story, and I'm like, yes, okay, you're hitting something here, man. But yeah, it was, now that I think about it, that was, if you guys would have been in there, you guys would have been like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
So
I believe all that. And you know what? The more I'm starting to realize about life, and what you guys just said, like, is so right on the nail. Like, now I understand why I'm so attracted to audio because it's about understanding the energies, the frequencies, like all of this goes hand in hand. And now, like as life goes, I'm like, now I know why I was drawn to this audio so much. Now I know why, like, you know what I mean? It's like second nature to me. Like, you know, it's just, you know, that's like everybody has. I think everybody also you know what, I was talking to somebody about this. I think everybody attaches to themselves to one sense in particular, and I feel like people like us, we're like the audio. It's like the ear, the ears, and you know what I mean. So like all of this is dope. Like the binaural beats, it's funny you talk about that because we're always trying to manipulate sound and use it. For example, we're like, okay, how can we get people to like our music and but like messing with the science? So we sometimes we put binaural beats in our music. Check this out, in our music, and we're just trying to like create some like recipes underneath. You know what I mean? Like it's more than just a song. Like what, you know what I mean? It's more than just a song. It's like a whole science. It's a whole science, and you know, part of it is I wish.
Let me ask you guys this question. Now that you've touched on that subject, okay, when you write or produce a track, do you guys believe in the subliminalities of a song, like actually inserting Skooba, the subliminal message behind a song because you're trying to get a message across indirectly, and you either embed it? Like I remember for a lot of hip hop artists, I used to put I believe it was a signal generator at, I believe it was like maybe 424 hertz or something like that. Just really layer it back, and it would trigger different emotions and different responses from the listeners. Do you believe in that shit? Like actually, like not even a layer, but kind of like something in the background that's going to trigger a specific emotion from people just by listening to the track, and you can't even hear it.
Yeah, that's all right. There's all kind. Look, if you actually get deep into it, there's so many different hertz that gives you a certain thing. Like I think it's like 111 hertz, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
that's like the cure for cancer.
Holy shit! Really?
Look it up. I'm not making no factual shit up or anything like that. I know it's something I remember like reading. It's like it's something in the low vibration can actually cure up, and like it disorients the freaking cancer cells. It's some crazy shit. But that's why people go in a lot of those sound not a sound cube. How would you explain? It's like where you go and it's this thing and it's pitch black. So it's only you and your mind. And they'll have all
really
vibrations playing and shit. Me and him did it once, but it was different. It was through the bath, the salt.
Sound bath.
No. Yes. Was that it? The one we did in Costa Mesa?
I think it was something like that. It was like some upscale place where like you lay in this pot of water of like this, and it's like thick with salt, like 100 pounds of salt.
Whoa,
and they play binaural beats. They play binaural beats in there, and it's like,
whoa,
you know what I mean?
Fuck?
Yeah. So, yeah. So there's different things that we've like ventured out, and we're just kind of testing. We see what works, what doesn't. You know, like what applies. Another theory. This is another one that like is worth looking into. This is, I can't prove any of this, but like is a theory of like how they built the pyramids, and one of it was like it wasn't necessarily aliens. It was that you could through frequencies, through certain hertz, you could move anything basically and shit.
Yeah.
So it's accumulation of frequencies, but like either way, these are the kind of things that I've had a passion for. Like I look into it. Like as soon as I heard about that thing, you know what I mean? And it was like an upscale thing because like athletes, big athletes or big people were doing it and shit.
Wow,
what I mean?
No shit.
Yeah. I got it. Hey, I got it in for free. It was they're trying to charge us like $60 a pop or something. I worked out some shit like you know what I mean? Like I play some magic on it.
Shout out.
I remember an old instructor, Skooba. His name was Matthew. Remember Matthew Clough Hunter? Tall.
Oh, Mateo, he was cool too. He was cool too.
He's a sound bath instructor.
Hey,
and
that's
he was telling me about different frequencies. He would show me these crazy like instruments he would come out with.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? He's the one that kind of turned me to a lot of the Himalayan monk frequencies. And I was just like, whoa. He's like, yeah, but this is very devoted type of frequencies because monks only serve one person. That's their god, nobody else. So you basically have devoted yourself to like a nun, and you're free of marriage, you're free of everything. You have to retreat and just be one with God, and that's it. You don't serve anyone else. And I'm just like, fuck that. That's a decision that you're just gonna leave everything behind. And that's it. Your sole purpose is to serve one entity. And I'm just like, I don't know if I could do that, but I'll give it a year.
Like just how we showed you all that shit, man. And just like 432,
yeah,
528, 7. I think it's 720 something, 26 or something. Each of those brings out a different emotion. So it's like, say I got like some hyped ass trap shit, like on some fucking like, I'm gonna fucking smoke you type shit, right? If it's that type of trap, you give them a frequency, it's gonna get them kind of irritable, like antsy and shit. So I would have that like at -35 or some shit, even maybe throw a reverb on it just to mess with you guys, and I'll have it so low you're not gonna hear it unless you actually solo everything out in the mix.
Whoa, so, no shit.
So if it's more of a like spiritual type of dope ass vibey track, then I'll switch up to my other hertz. I'll go a little bit lower from 528, and then I'll give you more of a relaxing, at peace with yourself one type fucking
interesting.
In the background, but you think it's just this artist in the song, and it's so fucking great, but really there's something in the background that's really that extra umph to it. It's like adding the balls to the
Whoa, that is fucking trippy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There's different scenarios. He touched what was dope, and there's different scenarios how we can manipulate the sound, how we like our mix. I feel like it's like a recipe now. Like the recipe we got now, it's just like it's so intricate and everything, but like also the fact that we've been doing this for a good while now. Which makes it what I could used to do in 4 hours, I could do in 1. You know what I mean? We could just we could dial it right in. It's so easy now. It's just like, what do you want to sound like? Play a reference track and bam, bam. Slapping effects left and right. You know what I mean?
What's interesting is Skooba should bring up the hype part of not just a song, but sometimes an entire album, or even a film. Regardless of what you're producing or what you're mixing or cutting. Which brings me to this next question, which you guys can definitely chime in. And this is something that I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Like, okay. And the question is, does the media go out of its way to create hype or to scare the public? And should this be allowed? And what could be done to control this? I think the answer is evident, but how are they doing it? And again, use your media sense. Are these media companies, whether they're mainstream, independent, whatever, do they have a formula to create what Skooba was explaining? Anxiety, relaxation, extreme focus. Like what do you think they're doing that no one really comprehends, except people who have actually been in the business? And should it be allowed? And what could be done to control it? Because people think it's out of hand. Or do you have to educate people on it, is my question. So do you think the media has a set formula to basically hypnotize people into believing shit?
As soon as you started this podcast, you talked about the books you read about manipulation. So you think they're not on it?
Yeah.
With those dudes, they do so much shit in people's faces, and people nowadays forget about it and go on with it. Like if you want to think about it, remember the 2012 Olympics? Remember when
absolutely
satanic freaking big old wizard in the sky with like pyramid? Like, I'm not knocking anything. It could be set designing. We've worked in the film industry. We get it. But for me personally, I'm like, bro, there's almost like some other type of shit with this. Because think about this, bro. Like you said, should we educate people? How many people want to be educated nowadays? How many kids really give a fuck nowadays? They don't. They're mostly on their phones. So it's all like, for how I see it, the media has a lot of the main mass populations in LA, New York, Texas, the main cities on lock.
Yeah.
Which is why you have people move out to the boondocks and the mountains to get away from the shit, to get away from like the poison that you can get. Because I mean, come on, bro. Like we said from the beginning, it's energy. So if you wake up,
absolutely,
you're nothing but negative and negative and negative and negative. How the fuck is that going to like treat your whole characteristic when you're talking to your friends or going to your family's house or any of that shit? So like,
so before I forget, Skooba, and I'll let everyone know because I forgot the name of the book.
48 Laws of Power.
It's called The 48 Laws of Power, and it's at Target for $14.99.
What fuck Target? Let me see.
So that's the book that's banned. And you going back to what you're saying, what other types of manipulation is there? And okay, I know everyone's more focused on what's going on right now with COVID-19 and stuff like that. And Chuux, I honestly believe that you could only have so much fear instilled into people. They're going to start either defying you because it's a fight or flight response. You're either going to fight it or you're just going to jam. And hold on, Boris, what's up? If you don't have a backbone, you're fucked. You'll believe in anything the media says. That's so fucking true. And Anthony, read How to Lie with Statistics. What the fuck? Are you serious? First, he shows me his Air Force manual. And he shows me this. You're blowing my mind, bro. You're blowing my mind. Yeah, it's fucking all right. Little Mr. E. But no, so give me an example, Chuux, of media manipulation that you're like, oh, what the fuck? And you deliberately caught it firsthand, whether it's on TV, in person, whatever. And you're like, oh, so this is how it fucking works, bro. Like, yeah. And your fucking skepticist fucking hat came on.
Yeah. It's a lot of it is fear mongering, like fear is a business basically. And they profit off this. All of this is profit. I believe there is an agenda apart from all of that. And it's not really to help out the main cause, you know what I mean? And, none of it is to help. I turn on the TV for like 5 minutes. I watch the news for 5 minutes. Don't even watch it. Just feel it, hear it. And like I start getting fucking anxiety just off all the bad shit. I'm just, man, turn this shit right off. It just, you know what I mean? It's just instilling fear and like, and that's how you control it. That's how it's a weapon of control, I believe,
Like I don't understand. For example, let's use COVID-19 as an example, Skooba. Why aren't they talking about more impactful things to actually not only help slow the spread, which we already know, it's out of control right now, but they're not promoting how to keep your immune system healthy. They're not promoting, okay, yeah, you can get vitamin D, go out and get some sunlight. No, they're deliberately telling you to lock yourself in your fucking house.
Yeah, basically.
And become a heroin addict, dude, because that's what they do. They just don't come out and they're hermits, man. And, no disrespect, because it hit me in my home. And, I luckily didn't get diagnosed. It came out negative. But I see what it does to families, man, and it fucking destroys them. And my boy here, Anthony, on the comment section, he barely recovered not too long ago, and now he mentioned not reporting on recovery rate. Of course not. It's like there's no why aren't you giving us the light at the end of the tunnel? Is my question. And it's because it's all the agenda that I strongly believe in, Chuux, is just to make money, man. That's the main thing.
Yep.
How do you make so much money off of this? And it's tracing back to January. People, if they knew that about this COVID-19 approximately a year ago from maybe this week.
Mm-hmm.
They were already making moves in the stock market as of January just for the vaccine development, and they cashed out. These people are going to cash out when these things are being passed out like fucking, like fucking, new customer joints at a dispensary, dude.
Why did all the CEOs step down? Why is it like a lot of people knew something was going to crack, and most certainly did.
Yeah, let's see what Bodhi says. Some people love novelas, but some people live to believe what the media has to say. Too much power and way too easy to reach out to so many people nowadays. Too bad that power is not being used for more impactful things. And I totally agree with that. Yeah. And shit, he said, wait till the meds hit the pharmacy. Dude, I am already getting emails from CVS saying you can walk down the street and get your COVID-19 vaccine. And guess what, Chuux? I'm going to fucking take it, bro. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to document every single day till maybe a year and then some, just to see if there's any side effects or anything, because I've done the flu shot every year and I've been okay so far. Who knows? I mean, I don't even know what the fuck is in it. I know there's either a live culture that's in your nose because they have the nasal, or they have a diluted version, kind of like a weak version with proteins and all that shit they inject you in your arm. But the reason for that, Chuux, I did it is because I got hit with the flu really bad in 2013, 7 years ago. Like literally, I was like, oh shit, like what the fuck is this? And they convinced me to take the flu shot, but ever since I took it, this is just me. I haven't got sick with the flu since. So there's, again, that's the light at the end of my tunnel. However, I've known people who have done the flu shot and they just they have really bad reactions, bro. That's why people do not read the disclaimer. They have to read it.
Your story is the same, but reverse for me. So as soon as I stopped getting those shots, I stopped getting sick completely, damn near. Like I really rarely get sick. It's weird. Really? But before I would get sick, like I would get shots and I would be getting sick. And once I stopped taking the shots, I was just like, I've not gotten shots in like 15 years, and like,
right.
I really rarely get sick. If I do, I'll be like a day or two, but like by the second day I already sweat it out and then kind of back to normal.
But I had some Skooba. I had some, what happened?
I said there's so many medicines. Like I was talking to him earlier, like he even said, bro, just drink like a hot ass tea, take a nap, sweat that shit out. And I'm like, because there's, like you were saying with the media, they govern so much shit. People can't see natural holistic remedies you could use from around the world. You could even order this shit online. They'll deliver from around the freaking world. You just pay the shipping. That's like almost super spices, super like foods, that's great for your like self and shit.
Yeah.
So you can't type it in on Google. They're just how you go get a shot. But
and I know what you mean, because there's a lot of, and I'm not knocking the holistic community, dude. There's a lot of good things out there. And but for all this stuff to be the end all be all, it'd be foolish for me to say that, even with a fucking vaccine. You just have to, as a human being, would you guys agree that you just have to find what works for you and your family, and maybe just you for now? And it might just be like, I know people that have lived on McDonald's for the past 40 years and they're still fucking alive. Not a single fucking blood lab has come out bad with triglycerides or cholesterol. Believe it or not, that's the trippiest shit to me. So I don't even know like how to explain that shit.
Yeah, sometimes to each his own.
Bodhi said, you are a parent that puts a lot of pressure. Oh, actually, we're all dads, man. Believe it or not. That puts a lot of pressure on how to deal with all this bullshit. Yeah, exactly. We don't want our kids to be exposed to any of this shit. A lot of stress on parents, especially if you're an old school kind of guy. I agree with you 100%. And Anthony too, the homie here. He's a dad as well. And that's the Skooba. That's the exemption that's going to end up happening for our kids to go back to school is because there's no law. This is what I do know. There's no law that requires our children to get vaccinated to go to school. There is no law. I know that. you can get a medical exemption written by a doctor and say, hey, I'm cool with my son or daughter, or daughters plural, to now take this COVID-19 vaccine and enter a public school with other vaccinated kids. This is the anti-vax movement that, you know, I've been reading about for a long time. But they do have their other immunizations, like my kid does. You know, I know a lot of parents don't believe in that. Much respect to you. To think that you're a walking biohazard, that's subjective, bro. That's up for discussion. I really don't know the science behind that, but I do know there was a measles outbreak at Disneyland, Chuux.
Shout out.
And that was a trip. I was like, oh shit, because that shit's airborne.
Fuck.
Yeah. So
right there is like a hot spot of like tourists and shit. So it's like you don't know what you get in that buffet, in that little, and you know, in those little walls, those little that fancy little area right there. I mean, you know.
Yeah. But then these anti-vaxxers that I know personally, they throw out the herd immunity term. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. So herd immunity in layman's terms, like to kind of simplify it for you, is say the three of us are roommates, right? And we see each other, every fucking day for 365 days a year, maybe even less than that. And Skooba gets sick, right? We don't know what he has, whatever. And then I get sick, and then Skooba feels better. And then I pass it on to Chuux. Chuux feels better. We all get better. That's herd immunity. We have the fucking antibodies to fight whatever it is that we had. But then there's on to the next one. Then Skooba contracts COVID-19. We don't know what it is, and I get it, and vice versa. And then, oh shit, like now I can't taste anything. I can't smell anything. Oh, me too. Like, okay, we caught the same shit. Skooba gets his taste back before I do. Mine doesn't come back for another 2 months. Chuux never gets his back. That's the kind of shit we're dealing with right now. And true stories, man. I mean, I'm using anonymous fucking examples because I don't want to put these people on blast in particular, but that it's a trip, dude. I mean, I'll give you an example. My wife just got her taste back today, since November 4th. And I remember Anthony here in the comments. I remember in the previous podcast, I think his didn't come back to like 4. He'll comment right now, but I think it was like 14, 17 days or some shit like that. But bro, kiss your favorite food. I don't know what you love to eat, Chuux, but kiss that flavor, the smell. I mean, mine is King Taco. And, you know, to buy it for my wife, and she's like, I can't smell it. I can't taste it. I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? Yeah, man. It's tough, dude.
Hey, you gotta on another note, on tacos, you gotta come fuck with these East LA tacos on Atlantic, on the street tacos. They're on some other shit.
That's what Skooba told me, man. He's like, hey, there's this truck. Yeah.
Yeah, but on that note, it's crazy because it's like, I mean, it's just so much to it and so much to go about it because, like, for one thing, the sickness is real, you know what I mean? And people are getting affected and whatnot. At the same time, people feel like the rules are ridiculous. Like, COVID doesn't, like, you know, the 10 o'clock thing, you know, I've been, you know, it's like, I've seen that meme that at 10:01, the COVID is already, like, licking its lips. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, that meme going around.
Yeah, and then like and then the fact that they never told you, like, gave you advice, like, hey, exercise, or there's just so many things that, like, you know, information that so the one thing that I do like that people are understanding, that they made a conclusion, is like, at the end of the day, these motherfuckers do not care about us. We got to start caring about ourselves first. And I think everybody's getting that message from all of this. Like, hey, you know, I had to take care of my health. I gotta, I gotta be armed. I gotta be ready. I gotta be, you know what I mean? I gotta be on my toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Anthony said he lost his taste for about 2 weeks, but didn't completely recover from COVID-19 for a month and a half. See, and I remember him saying on the previous podcast that fuck, he could not kiss or touch his daughters and wife for that period of time, dude. It fucking sucks, bro. Bori said East LA Tacos on Pomona and Atlantic. Is it right there?
No, I told him it's on a not
Vernon. Is it Vernon?
Is it Vernon and Whittier?
Is it Verona?
Verona. Right across
Verona and Atlantic, dude. Them little tacos a cabron.
Yes, the best, bro. The best. It's right by the fucking welfare office too.
I wouldn't say okay.
Right there.
They're probably the best in LA.
Look at Boris palabra. And Anthony said, had to wear a mask at home the whole time, but what helped was taking a scalding hot shower and breathing in the steam and drink hot water with lemon and honey every night.
Hey, I got a question. Hey, I got a question for him. Was anybody around him sick, or was it just him? Did it spread?
I actually when it comes down to taking hot ass showers, specifically in the San Gabriel Valley, our water is so jacked up that when you inhale the steam, it actually has bad shit in it that you're inhaling. I remember they came out with that shit in right here in that little paper that was like a couple months ago.
Oh yeah, I think it was BP, us, and Rosemead and Omani.
Yeah,
it was crazy shit. I was like, what the fuck?
Shut up.
But right here, like,
shout out to Baldwin Park.
Fucking BP, bro, coming up. Real estate is hot, bro.
Hey, shut off.
Where one of the oldest in and outs is, bro. I still fuck with that in and out, dude.
It's fun. It's funny,
and they're King Taco, so.
They're King Tacos, bro.
But you know what King Taco for me, bro, is like what's the comparison? Kind of like
it takes you to your memory, like
yeah, it's my nostalgia. It's like my McDonald's, whatever, in the 80s and shit. But Anthony said just me, but my daughter was sick a week before me, but they just said she had allergies that lasted 2 weeks. Fuck, even that's bad, man. Shit.
Yeah, so
that's horrible. Maria Vega, thanks for tuning in. Thank you. And then I had another guy from YouTube, Gaseous Clay, quite frankly show.
I think he meant
Muhammad Ali to you, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then saludos a Rachito Park. Where the hell are you, buddies? God damn it. But I reached a segment where I wanted what is called you guys have heard of a lightning round, right?
A what?
A lightning round.
Round?
Explain.
A lightning round.
Oh, round.
So what this is, I'm going to ask each of you a question and you guys have to answer it at the same time.
Nightmare.
So
at the same time.
Yeah, like you guys, well.
How's he going to know the answer at the same time?
Well, I'm going to ask it, and then you guys just kind of elaborate on your answers.
So I don't want to.
Okay. These are pretty interesting questions, and I'm just like, okay, well, just to kind of give, people kind of a synopsis of how your fucking mind works.
Oh, okay.
When you have to fucking answer on impulse, so.
Gotcha.
Actually, I'll do it one at a time, but if you feel to chime in. So I'll ask Chuux, but if Skooba wants to elaborate on your answer and he gives a different answer, that's totally fine. So I'll start with Chuux. So you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, ready? Okay. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Really?
Talking.
No shit. What you got to say about that, Skooba?
Always talking. I'm not gonna text you. I'm gonna call you up.
Yeah.
I'm surprised because I'm not used to hearing that answer.
Because look, you can't slow it down. You bust out that sexy voice. Can't do none of that on a text. None of that.
I agree, dude. Texting is the worst form of fucking communication because you invent voices in your head sometimes, bro. Like when Skooba messages me or whenever, I can still hear his voice in my head, bro. And you too, Chuux. Yeah. It's so weird. I'm like, I want to just talk to these motherfuckers. I'm like, okay, cool. But all right, Skooba, you ready for this next question? Favorite day of the week?
Every day.
Okay. Chuux?
Please. Hey, I highly agree, you know? I highly agree.
Hey, all right.
Tuesdays,
Hey.
Fridays, Thursdays, sometimes. Shit. Yeah.
Hey, the cool thing I will say about our schedule is that sometimes we get to make our schedule. So we don't hate Monday like the typical way people do. Sometimes our Mondays is a Friday. We just start a job on, you know what I mean? So it's variation. So, and I like that. I like not hating any day of the week. I like liking all the days, you know?
Yeah. So, like I always tripped out on how a lot of hair salons were closed on Mondays. So their Friday nights were Sundays. And I'm just like, why? How come you guys don't open on Mondays? He goes, we just don't. And I'm just like, oh, what the fuck? Like here in Rosemead, a lot of the Vietnamese places, they close on Thursdays. Which is
over here, Tuesdays. Tuesdays is the days they close. Yeah, they figure for whatever reason they figure if you get a haircut on Monday, you have it for the rest of the week. But probably nobody's gonna come on Tuesday.
Oh, interesting. All right, you ready for the next question? This is for Chuux. You ready? All right. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world, or be able to talk to animals?
Animals. Because
really?
Hell yeah, because I can still get across to people. Hell yeah, I can still get my message across. I can still Google some shit. I could do some sign language. You know what I mean? Whatever to a person, but to animals, like, come on now. I can
see Chuux fucking going up to people. Hey, go bite this motherfucker in the leg right here. Go.
Hell yeah, take some DMT. Go talk to the animals. Yeah.
And that you know, speaking of DMT, Skooba was talking about this shit last week, and I didn't even know it. It's a norm now. Like you can go and actually get it at a dispensary. You know, you just got to get good quality of it. Some dispensaries, not all.
You can get DMT. If there's anybody out here in LA selling DMT, this for all you people listening, you better stop that shit.
Really?
Shops buying that. No, there's only.
Okay.
I'm not going to say enough, but I will say this: no. You
good advice. Good advice. So you heard it from Skooba. Don't buy LA DMT because it's basically laced with fucking cat urine and shit.
Fucking fentanyl. I don't know.
Fuck! Don't even get me started on fentanyl, man. Shit.
No.
But if you're looking for the fire of the fire, get yourself that Bufo Alvario.
Bufo
Alvario. Check it out. Hey, check it out. Yeah, check it out. That's the one that comes directly from a toad. It comes from a toad.
Yes. Okay.
In the Mexican desert. Yeah, it's called the God molecule. Like
we're about to go. Any of you thrill seekers that were watching this want to get a little bit of a spike back in your lungs. Let's make it happen.
Oh shit! All right, ready? Skooba, this is for you right here. What was your first celebrity crush?
Fuck. I don't know.
His girl's right there.
Nah, like
first celebrity crush.
Fuck, I don't know. I can't think as a kid. I don't know their names.
The first one that comes to mind.
It was the Pink Ranger, bro, from Power Rangers.
I don't think I had that channel. It was
that channel.
It was
this fool had an antenna with a fucking a gancho and shit.
Who was you honestly where my kid got fuck. Man, you put me in a I can't.
You know this one. Every young child has a celebrity crush, whether it's a teenager or kid.
I know that's that Disney Channel shit. Had something.
He said Gloria Trevi. Wow, damn.
I'm gonna find it.
Really?
I don't think it's Hillary Duff. I don't think that's who that girl is.
Hillary Duff was what was her show?
Oh, was it that girl from Topanga? Was it Topanga? I remember. I had a crush on her.
From Boy Meets World.
I think so. That girl Topanga. I was like, damn.
2000. Hold on. Disney shows 2000. Jesus. No, not Kim Possible. I'm not that dirty yet.
As a kid, Alyssa Milano. Oh yeah, man. When she was on Who's the Boss, I remember that.
Raven
Who was yours, Chuux?
First of all, Raven was fine.
Raven?
Well, I remember different stages. I don't remember what level. It's funny you said the Pink Ranger because I think a lot of dudes that they had the Pink Ranger too. It's just like variations. I remember Topanga, and then I remember when I seen Gwen Stefani too, and she was from Anaheim. I was like, "Woo, girl!"
Yeah, dude, she was the punk rock queen, bro. At one point, everyone knew who she was, and we're like, okay, she's dating the bass player who's still in the band. She's dating Tony Kanal. Yeah.
Once I heard she got with that cowboy dude, I was like, "Girl, you fell off."
Like, give me your County back.
And no offense to country music at all. Is dope. Believe me when I tell you it's got its dope music. But this guy in particular is like seemed like a douche. Like, you know what I mean? He's like the poster face of like commercial ass.
Shakira during my teenage years. I agree with that 100% because I actually still have her CD when she had red hair and she played guitar.
Damn. Yeah.
This is like 1996, 97 or some shit.
Yeah.
All right. I'll leave you hanging on that one for now, Skooba, but I'll ask Chuux this next one. You ready?
Let's go.
All right.
Figure it
out. All right. If who has it easier, men or women?
Men.
You think so?
Men.
Think so?
Yeah, we gotta look. We gotta humble ourselves. We gotta understand that a lot of our habits are machismo habits that have been embedded years and years in us, and we gotta undo this shit. You know what I mean? Like a woman is like the only being that could navigate souls into this fucking through their portal. They got a portal, bro. They got a portal. You know what I mean? Like 100%. Come on, who the hell we think men are? Like, we need to take a step back. You know what I mean? Like, we got it easier. We got it. We got to check ourselves a little bit. Hear these women out.
Absolutely. You know what? What's funny is my friend of a long time who's also been out of the closet for a long time. He's been gay his whole life. He still has a very masculine sense about him. I'm not disrespecting all of the ones that are not, but he's like, hey, bro, like, I'm having a child, and of course they had a surrogate mother for that, and he basically still kept the relationship, and he's doing the double dad thing, but he still talks to the surrogate mom, and because he's grateful for that, he says, hey, man, he's like, you have to remember. Like you said, he used that word. He didn't use the word portal. He said that females carry a dimension that us biologically as men cannot bring humans to this earth. Yeah. All we have is the seed to plant in the soil. He's like, they're the ones that are basically growing the garden, and I'm just like, fucking bro. And props to him. I mean, he's awesome. But he made me see that in a different retrospect. I'm just like, yeah, you're right, man. Because I remember one time, I forgot one of our coworkers had a miscarriage or something like that, and I just felt real bad, man. Yeah. Real bad, because we know shit like that happens, and for us guys, it's like, oh shit, like we don't know what that's like. We don't. And I'm just like, fuck, man, like, Jesus. Like, and then, Anthony has 4 girls, bro. He's a man because we dodge the menstrual cycles and pregnancy.
Yeah.
I mean, the hardest thing I had to go through was back pain, bro. That's it. And, I get called a bitch for it. She's like, man up, what the fuck?
You get a little sciatica, and it's like,
Scoobs, are you still?
Is he back?
He's still trying to find out his celebrity crush. So true.
I'm not gonna.
Are you ready for this, Scoobs? Here we go.
I don't think he's ready.
You ready? It's a new question. It's a new question.
New question, guy. Erase the board.
Easy. All right, what's your favorite carb? All right, is it bread, pasta, rice, or potatoes?
Ugh.
He knows.
Unless you don't do carbs, okay.
Oh, like I eat that shit, but I don't have like a.
It's because he needs fiber to go shit.
I just eat during the day, bro.
He needs it to keep himself regular, bro. I don't blame you, dog. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I don't wake up like, oh, I'm only having 2 slices of toast today because blah blah blah. It's like, no, however the day goes,
avocado toast.
Cook like, hey, shit, all right. If we, I'm with it.
So it's bread, isn't it?
And by the way, this dude is very open about his stool movements, so you could have a whole episode about this. He'll be more than he'll put you on game about some shit. He really don't open up that
about fecal implants.
If you don't know about the squatty potty, you've been behind.
I know about the squatty potty. The squatty potty, bro.
You don't want fingers up your ass when you're an old man. We all got to go through it, right? This helps you get to that stage by taking your shit right. It's a lot to explain. I told this guy and talked about it 1,000 times. What it is, you basically sit down, but your eggs are elevated like this.
It's true, man. Let's see. Let's show people what the squatty potty is, bro. Look at this shit. That's exactly what it is right there, bro. It's a squatty potty.
She's happy because her digestion system, her digestion.
And let's get a quick diagram here. Let's analyze this.
Look at that.
That's incredible, bro. And look at this form. Look at this. That's perfect form right there, bro.
That's all right.
It's at a 35-degree angle because normally we shit like this.
It's funny.
Sorry, too.
It's funny, trust me. At first, I was laughing. I saw this on another dude talking about it, and but it made sense. And straight up, if I take a shit at the studio, it's not the same as taking a shit at the house, man.
Look at that. Sitting, look at that, and then squatting, bro. Look at the enormous difference in quality of shitting, bro. That's amazing.
She's happy because she knows that. That everything that's in here that's gonna be in here is coming out 100%, and it's ready for the next batch of shit. You know?
This is awesome, dude. I mean, look at this. They got fucking kids squatty potties, bro. That's incredible, man. Look at this shit. Oh, look at that. That's a satisfied customer, bro. They got a fucking elephant at the bottom. Look at that. And they even got like the hipster ones, bro. You know, it's made out of like rosewood and Canadian maple.
Yeah, very rustic.
And it's great for the environment. And then I go and bury my shit in the backyard for soil.
I can make sure that the shit comes out 100% and I'm not left with a little turtle tongue at the end of the day. I don't know about that shit. It's when you gotta take it and you still feel like there's like this much that needs to come out, but it just
How much?
Not like that much.
Fuck.
You guys know what I'm talking about. Oh, everybody's.
I know what you mean, bro. I know what you mean. Especially like I don't know if you've ever had like
oh god.
No. You drink black coffee in the morning and then it triggers your fucking bowels, bro.
I don't.
No,
I don't. I stay away from that crack. Yeah. Because I know it's a bad habit. I know. I don't want to develop
coffee.
More.
Oh hell!
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes we work on film and on set, and like there's a lot of cords running and a lot of equipment out, and so we work like easily like 16-hour days, and like sometimes I'm nodding off, sometimes I'm like standing up nodding off, like but just go back to the little crafty table. This guy goes and hits the Pookie, little Skante warrior, but warning. Exactly. But there's other ways. I just didn't develop. But yeah, I heard that too. Somebody was like, "Oh yeah, I got to take my coffee shit." I was like, "What the fuck is coffee shit?" A coffee shit. I was like, "Oh, it's the shit that the coffee makes." I'm like, "Why are you gonna drink the coffee if it gives you the shits?" But I guess it's a trade-off.
Like the coffee does, I get when I hit the DMT. Like right away, I'll go into this state of like oneness. And then
like, shit on myself.
Hey, I was having this conversation with him yesterday. I swear on everything, that shit naturally detoxes you. So for me too, after I come back, I'm like, oh, I need to take a fat shit. And I was like, bah, 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 bah. And
he said rapapapa, bro.
Blah, 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 blah.
Here's why. Conversation.
Like Bodhi said, conversation turned a little shitty all of a sudden. Hijo de su pinche madre. Wow. All right. Last one. And this is this is the thought-provoking question that that both of you are gonna offer to the youth of America and the youth of LA County and Orange County, whatever. Okay, you ready? This is for both of you. And you guys, I'll start with Chuux first. All right. Tell me one mistake in your professional career. Tell me one mistake in your professional career that you wish you would have made a lot earlier, and maybe it would have gave you a little bit more of a head start to where you are now. What's one mistake in your professional career that you wish you had made earlier? Like in my case, I wish I would have gone to school a lot earlier, like, in our realm, early 20s. I didn't get to school till I was 30.
Yeah.
So that would be mine. But, what is one mistake in your professional career that you wish you would have made earlier? Like, fuck. Okay. But better late than never. Yeah.
That's a good thought. And I want to change up that narrative a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
Because I feel like part of that thinking could throw you off, you know what I mean, right, in a bad way. And here's the way I offer it. We always feel like we're late towards something, but what are we really late for? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember like,
what is the getting married?
Yeah. No, I remember telling people when I started going to school, like, it already felt late too. And I'm like, yo, let's go to school. They were interested in the same stuff as me. I'm like, yo, let's go to school. It was too late. What you mean it was too late? Too late for what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, now if they had a chance to go back to the school, they would still go. And how long has it been? 6 years ago. You know what I mean? I feel like as long as you like, I just went for everything that I've always wanted to do. So if you live with that, with no regrets, then you know what I mean? Like for example, I'm going to give you another example. There's programs, we work on film now for mostly commercials and music videos. There's these programs, and trip out on these facts. There's programs that you could get into that take 2 months, right? 2 months. They are free. Yeah. They are free. They teach you how to be on set and now how to be so green so that you could work on the set. And they send you to these big paying jobs. And all of them are payroll jobs. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they send you. So you got this that's for free 2 months and guaranteed versus like film school and audio school. And this you're in debt like 30 to 50,000 and you're not guaranteed anything in the audio school. You're not, you know what I mean? And part of me was like, when I got into set, a part of me is just like, man, I wish I would have found this program when I was just like right out of high school. And man, right now I'll be boom, 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 boom. And then I felt like an ungrateful hand, like kind of slapped me really quick. Like I felt like I was being ungrateful. Like, dude, you're in it, regardless of how you got in here. Like, you're in it. You know what I mean? The point is, you're here. The fuck does it matter? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. I caught myself realizing, yeah, we could dwell on certain things, but if we just do it and try it, and you just don't reserve anything back, you can never go wrong, bro. Like, everything we've done that's led up to here, that what we're doing, and you know what I mean? It's just because we've taken risks, you know what I mean? Like, when the first internship I got coming out of Pinnacle College, you know what I mean? They told me to move to Idlewild. I was going to work on the audio for a show on PBS. It fucking blew my mind. I didn't know what to think. A paid internship when I was getting housed. Like, I was like, you know what I mean? And like, I didn't hold nothing back. I just went full force every time. And like that, got no regrets. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah. That's one thing that you know, and I'm sure Skooba will give me his take on this too. There's always this fear of it's always the what if factor. Like, what if this happens? And then, quite frankly, like Chuux said, you just got to hit the pedal and all gas, no brakes. You know. But
straight up.
how about you, Skooba?
From my experience, you have to be at peace with yourself as much as you can in order to like do what you have to, because that's what we're all looking for, right? Peace, happiness. You know, whatever it is, we want our families and everyone around us just to be safe and like prosperous in a sense. So we'll get jobs, we'll do things in life to work to. So I guess in a sense, when we leave this earth, that it actually leaves something for our loved ones back.
Yeah.
So I guess in like my state of mind, it's kind of like, man, everything really is like a learning curve. As far as regretting shit, nah, because I still fuck up till this day, but I'll learn from it. And that's only you just have to like do shit. But when I say like be one with yourself, like you're saying when doubt kicks in, doubt is a motherfucker. Doubt is the reason why a lot of fools, not to knock anybody, like I'll respect all you cats, but a lot of fools did go and like dip out and do other things.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess they just gave up. Real shit, like straight up. And I think it's one of those things, no matter what the fuck you do, bro, you have to be on point with shit, because everybody around you, from your family to your friends, everybody's always gonna have your opinion. But as long as you kind of know what you're doing right with whatever it is you're trying to pursue, you'll be good. Such as a song, even Chuux will tell me, I'll be like, oh, it's dope. Then the next day I'll be like, oh, I don't know. And he'll be like, oh, who gives a fuck even what I think? Who cares? What do you feel about it? As long as you're happy with it and shit. And it's really one of those things you need to have fucking confidence, bro. And a lot of fools don't have that shit. A lot of people, not knocking no one or anything, because like everybody finds their own tune in time. But for me, once someone gets put down a couple of times, they're just gonna give up and be like, oh fuck it, I tried. And then they'll be that kind of, bro, like shit, like real shit. Like I was in my garage forever. And you know,
I remember you telling me about that, and I'm just like, man, it's.
I
hate to use this guy as an example because he's kind of like the richest man in the. I don't know if that's the world, but the country at least, and it's Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
Jeff Bezos started in his own garage too. So
literally, bro. And I was with there every night, cold outside, hot outside, depending how the seasons change. And one of my friends passed away and shit. But before even he passed, he always told me like, "Hey, bro, like real shit, like you need to drop some of this shit." And my other homie too said this. Always said like all my people around me always tell me to release my shit. And honestly, this year has just been kind of a little just like. I'm not gonna say it's the right time to drop music, but I'm not gonna say it's the wrong time either.
Right.
It's one of those things like for me personally, I'm like, man, like I guess I've been procrastinating a little bit lately.
Yeah.
So for my own personal way of it, it's like it's not that I don't believe in myself or anything like that. It just more or less I'm waiting for the exact time. So like right now, I have a fucking album that's been done for like 3-4 months already. Done. Mastered everything. All I gotta do is just turn it into ASCAP, submit it to my distribution, and after just make sure everything's cool from there. Yeah. But even then, it's all like I do have my little thoughts sometimes that'll kick in, like, "Oh man, you're fucking 27, blah blah blah," and you start thinking all this stupid shit.
Yeah,
and I'll literally just have to slap myself, literally, bro, or just like hit myself over the head. It's like, nah, or I'll go exercise. I'll straight up work out real quick. I won't feel the same. So I kind of feel as soon as you get those like little ideas to stop doing what you know in your heart is gonna eventually lead up to somewhere where you want to be. You just need to block it off, bro. Like, and I remember that dude Dan Penna. I really like that dude. He's from East LA and all that shit. He's this dude.
I know who Dan Penna is. Yeah.
Yes, you already know. Anybody doesn't know him?
Yeah.
Look, basically, he said it's so real. It's just like when it comes down to the people around you. He said to create a list on the left list, write down all the things that you want to do from the very top to your most desire, all the way going down. Then on this other on the right side, for one whole week, I want you to spend Sunday to Sunday and write every single day down with the people you met, what you talked about, blah, blah, blah. Literally have it on a notebook. Come back after that whole week, and I'll compare it with you and show you how out of all the people you met up with, that most likely none of them got you to achieving any of this shit. So therefore, you ain't gonna get any of this. And I was like, oh shit, I kind of see where he's getting at. That's what me and him know about. Like, you are who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
You know where we're at in our studio area. I could easily call up my friends and like, oh, blah blah blah, this and that, blah 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 blah. But for me, it's not the same kicking in the garage shit no more.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, it's really not. It's like, nah, I have to pay rent in this place, and this shit ain't out. I need to record people. I can't be recording for free no more. I'm past that shit.
Right.
That's why when me and him mix now, not to like trying to hype ourselves up, bro, but once you're done recording, it already sounds freaking mixed.
Right.
So once, as a artist or anybody coming in starting to hear those things, you're like, oh shit, damn, this is really good. And when I get those comments, I know all those nights when I was in the garage thinking I was gonna fail, now hearing at this point how fools are so just blown away by what they're hearing, I'm like, oh fuck yeah. So all those stupid ass thoughts I was having, oh, do this, do that, blah 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 blah, but just all this, just noise that you
absolutely
wow, bro, it's tunnel vision. Because he can tell you the same, but when we get compliments for our work, like, I remember, not to bring up Chuux like that and personal, but he told me himself, like, when someone told him like how pleased they were with what he did, he told me that was like the first time really in his life, like, fuck, I'm actually doing something where people are like appreciating, I'm fucking good at it. And it's our own thing. It's not like we're working for some company and we're trying to be the, you know, anything like that, bro. Like, we're literally following what we're doing and like sticking to it. And we've been. Why do you think as soon as he got out of school, he had an internship? While I was still going to school, I had an internship. Even Jess, towards the end, was even talking about I might have to get kicked out if I don't start coming. And I was like, oh fuck, okay, you know.
Yeah.
That's why your advice when you told us, bro, we shot to the stars with that, bro.
Well, ultimately, and I'll say this because you guys got it and you guys took it on your own, and you guys made what you guys made now. Which I'm proud to see that you guys actually fucking stuck with it, first and foremost, because I know a lot of people you mentioned just gave up. And this is just not something that you tinker with and you take up for 2 years. Oh, I got my degree, now what? No, it actually, for you guys, it started while you guys were in class going through the whole curriculum. And one thing I learned quickly, before I didn't want to be doing it anymore, like full time, like I was before. And my story was, I just wanted to, basically educate young minds, because I was starting to see a really bad trend. And one of those bad trends, believe it or not, is no one knew how to get out of a bad state of mind. Everyone was stuck. Everyone kept repeating the same story of their lives over and over, and nothing got done. That's what, referring back to Dan Pena, dude.
No.
You are who you surround yourself with, because if those people they're in sync with you with the same, that's what they say, misery loves company. If you keep telling, and Chuux mentioned a word that gets used a lot nowadays, if you keep repeating the same narrative and you don't change it, you don't tell yourself a different story, you don't get out of that funk, nothing's going to happen. Like right now, what's happening with the film and music industry is the story that everyone is telling themselves is, oh, there's no more money in this, which is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Everyone knows, amongst a pandemic, there's still fucking money.
Oh yeah. By the way, so I just got word of this and I looked it up because I work in the film. We just got labeled essential. Yeah, we're in the essential list now, so that's kind of good news for us. Yep. I mean, some of us have been working through the whole pandemic, you know what I mean? Just so you know how it is to work on set a little bit now since the pandemic. About 80% of the jobs we take, we got to test for COVID. So I'm damn near taking a COVID test like once or twice every 2 weeks at least. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then even then they got like a whole COVID team there that's like constantly wiping, constantly telling everybody to be 6 feet apart. Yeah. It's like an OSHA feel a little bit, but like on set, you know what I mean? And they're just, you know what I mean? Like before you could walk up to the snack table and just get snacks. Now they got one designated person can hand it off. You know what I mean? Just a lot of stuff is going on. It's still hard work, but that was a little bit of break that, you know, for the people in the film that like we it got labeled essential. So that's some kind of you know, quebrada a little bit.
Yeah, 100%, because that means that the new quarter, which is, you know, the beginning of the year, is just going to be that much better for everyone else, because what's probably 90% of the population doing right now is they're streaming everything, and guess what? They're running out of shit. They are, believe it or not, they're running out of new material.
Yep.
Everyone can't believe it. Oh, there's a ton of shit online. I'm like, but there's only a certain amount of companies that are offering these streaming services, and guess what? They probably reuse the same exact shows, depending on the contractual agreements, of course. But no one's making new shit.
No,
and that's going to be a problem. And that's I call it the Hollywood hit, because it was not deemed essential. Same thing with like musicians playing at live venues. That really had me like, whoa, wait, like, why are you? Obviously, a lot of the infections are not really centered or pinpointed towards outdoor dining, and even indoor dining with precautions. Because if you have these protocols set in place, like I'll use Orange County as an example. They, in my opinion, they did a great job of abiding with all the state and local protocols for COVID-19. And a lot of their cases did go down, but everyone knows that a lot of infections occur from the shit that you least expect, man. From, you know, coming over your friend's house, having a gathering for someone's birthday, you know, and then with me, I'm guilty of it. Fucking, you know, Mexican fucking kids' birthday parties, bro. You know, it's, you know, you're clanking modelos and cracking a piñata, you know. But
no, that's interesting, because it's like, you know, it exists, but it's just like, damn, it's like we've all been guilty of like us going to these events, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether you choose your circle or not, you don't know. So it's just hard, and then it's like tell people to like stay inside the whole time. Well, that's damn near slowly going crazy.
Yeah.
These are sensitive topics, you know, like what do you tell the people, you know what I mean? Everybody's just, you know, just
you
trying
can't tell them, you can't see your family. I mean, they're going to do quite the contrary. That's exactly what they're going to do. So, and it's Halloween parties. I'm guilty of that, Anthony. Fuck yeah. And Boris, brother, don't even get me started on live performances. We got over 15 shows canceled this year, including a big festival in Monterrey, Mexico, in front of 40,000 people, man. And, you know, Boris plays in, I call it, everyone calls it death metal. I just call it death. But nonetheless, it's music, it's sound, it's something that attracts a certain demographic and audience. And then, I mean, for us sound guys, you know, we have our musical preferences, but to us, regardless of the genre, all we hear is, you know, frequencies and sounds and pulses. But that alone is like, okay, like, is everyone tuned in to that narrative in sync? And the answer is no, because I compare LA County with Orange County. Orange County is in a whole different, they're on a whole different kind of frequency. And LA County is static on one. And that's why we're having the problem that we're having, because you know as well as I do, man, LA County is a very defiant county, man. We're very defiant. If you tell us to do something, if you're like, you're mandated to wear a mask, we're going to go like this, dude. That's what we're going to do. Which brings us to our current fucking problem. And not to say that Orange County is not like that, because I went to Huntington Beach and I was like, holy shit. Like, this is like, people were walking around like nothing was happening. The bars were open. People were hugging. And I was just like, whoa. And I'm walking around with a mask. They're making fun of me. And I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Flying fuck over there.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh shit. I'm like, okay. And then I saw some dude go up to some dude that was protesting BLM and telling him, oh, BLM is a fucking lie. It's all a lie. Coronavirus is all a lie. Like that, just really passionate, man. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, that man is tuned in to a different frequency that's being pushed very heavily on social media and the internet. That's what I'm saying. The spread of disinformation has an attachment to it that people are just going to be like, oh no, like the people that know that I like to call, like I like to consider myself a logical liberal, but I'm not really a liberal. I just get labeled that because I'm not, I don't side with the Republicans and I don't really side with the Democrats. I'm kind of in between. But at the same time, it's like, okay, sometimes logic is flawed because everything is subjective. Everything is up for discussion. Like, is there ever really just one fucking way to do things? The answer is no. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean by it. And does that mean shutting down the entire fucking country, the entire state? I don't think so, man.
It's never just black and white, especially with all these topics. There's so much, you know what I mean? There's countries that did it with like no mask. There's countries that did it with all masks. There's countries that done it this way. There's countries that done it that way. Yeah. It's crazy because it's like, you know what I mean? It's like how many here's the thing. Here's the thing, Edgar. Like if you really think about it, like sometimes you just gotta listen to all these parties out. Even some of these people that are like, that believe in some of these crazy conspiracies, and like one thing's for certain is that they can't trust the government. That's what they're realizing it. You know what I mean? So they're not wrong in some angle, but by trying to push out one agenda, then like one agenda where it's just like completely one-sided, then that kills a narrative. So I try to remain like neutral in this, in the fact that I just say everybody's right and everybody's wrong. You know what I mean? People want to say Black Lives Matter, of course, you know what I mean? Like obviously some people don't get it. That's why I could agree with them, but then they say, oh, it's also a corrupt organization that da la la and da la la. I'm like, I also agree with you. It's true, you know what I mean? It's just like the pandemic, people are saying like the numbers are fixed. Like and I'll give you a quick story. I gotta give this quick story, you know what I mean? Like they say the numbers are fixed, and to a point they can be. So one time I'm taking these tests. I was taking a test, right? This was an optional one. I was just like, I want to see how accurate this is, right? So and they give it to you to administer yourself, to like swab your nose, and they tell you to go, like, what I mean? And on one of those, I was just kind of like, okay, I want to see how accurate this is. So I kind of like just went like that on the side, and then I just gave it to them. All right, whatever, But like next day, they're like basically like, oh, you're positive. I'm like, well, how sure is this test? They're like, well, it's 100%. Okay. Now at the same time, I was like, I know I didn't put that anywhere near my nose or anything. I know that. But then at the same time, I can't be like ignorant. So I quarantined myself for that day until I took a test. I had to set up another test the next day. That was the next available test. So, and then obviously right there, I came out negative and everything. And then I asked them, I was like, hey, this happened. There's like, oh yeah, I was just probably a bad test or something. So I was like, so basically was I a statistic for that day? And then they said, yes, I was. You know what I mean? Yeah. When like, you know what I mean? And like I saw it firsthand, like, and I know this, but then at the same time, just because I'm trying to say the numbers are flawed, doesn't mean I don't know the viruses fucking exist. So that's my whole thing. Like, everybody's right and everybody's wrong. If you just try to push out one agenda, you're wrong. The truth speaks for itself. When you hear the truth, That's it. Just listen to people for 1 second, and they probably do have a point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hear them out a little bit.
Check this out. So Elon Musk took 4 tests in one day.
I heard about this.
And 2 came back positive, 2 came back other negative. That's why, like, I know a lot of people that are not doing that. That's called a PCR test. They're doing the antibody viral blood draw. That's a lot more accurate because your blood doesn't lie. And at the same time, you can find other things that you might have caught and might have fought. But I mean, none of this shit is ever going to be. It's not going to take away from what's already been done. You know, this shit happened. It's going to be almost a year already, and you know, our economy is, you know, it really crashed in March. And, you know, now it's going to be a while before everything else just kind of, you know, heals itself, because there's so many fucking scars and blemishes, man, that they're not going to go away overnight. It's going to take about maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6, 7 years. So I'm hoping at least we get a ray of sunlight next year. And is the vaccine going to be the ray of sunlight? I don't know. I don't know that for sure. You know, it's all subjective. It's all for discussion. But nonetheless, I mean, I just think that, you know, it's all subjective. It's all for discussion. He said, if you want to find out for sure, go donate blood and they'll let you know real quick. Yep, exactly. And then Bodhi says, whoever thinks that shit happens just because están jodidos. There's a level of conversation way above our comprehension. We're just in the middle, taking all the bullshit and paying for others' mistakes and fucking games. I can't disagree with that at all, man. I mean,
pretty much.
After reading, I mean, I'm gonna read the book that I just fucking blasted here on the podcast, the 48 Laws of Power. I'll let you know exactly what I find in there, and that looks like a Christmas tree, Skooba.
That's all I have nowadays, brother.
Feliz Navidad. Like that, bro. But,
hey, as how you guys are just saying about the whole shit stopping everything, King Taco bomb. Lucia's Tacos down the block, some like family-owned shit. They're closed down now. They're not coming back. Here's the point I'm making at, even though I just threw it off real quick, is because of this shit happening, it's killing all the small businesses, bro. Like mostly all the small businesses are not going to make it, and even the fucking loans aren't going to help either. It's like barely going to get it. So not to go back to the subject, but just saying, like, what one factual shit I do see that is not no conspiracy or anything is small businesses are failing right now miserably.
And to be honest with you, which is why like we're really grateful for this, because actually our studio has done good during this time. It has given a lot, like not just that, like a peace of mind. Like when COVID first hit and everything, you know, everybody got like taken out from their jobs completely, like everything completely shut down, and so there was no filming being done. So right away that took away all of our jobs. So you're gonna get some bread, but you don't know when. There's a lot of uncertainty. You don't want to rely just on a system that, you know, whenever they want to disperse money. So it's
you shouldn't rely on that at
all. Exactly. Anyways, you have more sources of income. So this right here was a place, and not only that, just to create, just to bounce ideas. Like this guy will be like, you know, he'll be playing his beats, or you know, we'll be doing that, recording tracks, mixing, mastering. Like I really believe, like I have no hesitation coming to the studio, even if a client like happens to like lag or whatever reason. There's always work to do. Like there's just so many projects I got. There's just so many things I can work on. There's so many tools right here, so many toys. It's just so much to do. So during this times, I know like small businesses are taking a big hit, and it sucks because that's technically what we are. Luckily for us, we've done good. Also, the set of skills have come together right now to really good too. Like we feel really confident about damn near any project we get now. You know, like we know You can emulate whatever sound they want. So.
Like, even when Edgar, when you said about that video editing shit earlier, you technically taught me that. If you remember, if I'm correct, I'm the only one at Pinnacle who did the fucking like just a video in general, and you told me, hey, here's iMovie. See what I mean?
Yeah, and I basically gave you the tool, and like Chuux mentioned at the beginning, it's what you did with it, and hence came that make your own reverb video. But it was great. Post your guys' info here. I would like to check y'all out. Damn, we're going on 2 hours and 25 minutes. Damn, that's pretty damn good. This is the IG right here.
That's the IG.
Sound Olympus. You can also follow Skooba on IG, and of course Chuux. I mean, shit,
on Instagram. This is the one.
IG, you can. That's a pepperoni nipple. Oh my god.
That's right.
Damn.
Hey, this dude will FaceTime me with some shit like that sometimes. It's just like I don't even know what to think.
It's the time to do that. That's friendship, brother.
That's that you can't. Those are precious moments, bro. Those are precious moments. But any last I guess Jerry Springer type fucking final thoughts that you guys want to share before we end here?
That's pretty interesting. I think I touched on a lot of the things that
Wait, we didn't talk about those crazy ass things that were moving around, right?
Oh, the monoliths? But they turned out to be illegally installed in the ground. And someone saw it being taken away in a truck is what I discovered. So I got all excited for nothing.
There's a monolith right now in my hat.
It's illegally implanted in your hat, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess final thoughts on a wild show, just like Jerry Springer.
Yep.
Is I guess just and this time is like it's actually really a time to like. I know a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff, but I think one of the biggest things that you could do right now is like self-read, is just realization, just realize what's important in your life, you know, where it starts, go back to the basics. If you don't know where it's at, just go back to the basics, who you are, go back to what you love doing, you know, what feels good, what feels at home, tap in with your people, tap in with, you know, your family, you know what I mean, go out, go on fucking hikes, just tap in with the most basics, you know what I mean? That's where I think that's where we're at right now. That's where we all got to take a time out right now and just do a little bit of like, you know, breathe a little, you know, like, you know, reevaluate your life. What's really important, you know. Everybody's taking a loss during this time. Believe me, everybody's taking a loss. But it's like you still got a roof over your head. You still got food on your table. You still got a lot to be thankful for, really. We really do have a lot to be thankful for regardless. And you know what I mean? We'll get through it. Yeah. Like Homeboy said earlier, we're just stuck in the middle playing these other people's games sometimes. And I believe that to the fullest. I believe that to the fullest. So you ask yourself, what can you do? I'm going to tell you right now. Just keep fighting the good fight. Just simple shit, you know what I mean? Just be good to the next person, you know what I mean? Yep. Just fucking keep that good shit going, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And like, and you know, I think eventually we'll be good, you know what I mean? But we gotta purge a little bit. And you know, obviously, before it gets good, it's gonna get a little ugly. That's just the only part. So that's what we're dealing with right now. We're just seeing the ugly part, but we got to filter out all this. It's all coming to light is what's basically coming down. It's everything's coming to light now. So it's like you can't go on without, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? I love America, but like there's a lot of stuff that's going on that you can't ignore. Yeah. You can't go to the next phase. I'm sorry. Yeah. You gotta like have real conversations with so it's gonna get ugly, but believe me when I tell you that it's all for the better and we'll be in a good place soon.
Yeah. Skooba looks like he's one of those ghost shows, like.
Hey, true story. I called him on a Friday night. Hey, true story. I called him on a Friday night. One time, I just like the notion of like, hey, let's go to a bar or something. And like, hey, I'm like, let's go to a bar or something. He's like, I'm like, where you at? He's like, oh, I'm in some house, some abandoned house. And I'm like, and I'm looking at the time. It's like 9:20, and I'm a Friday at 9:20 o'clock at night. I'm like, what are you doing there? Oh, just exploring, getting video, getting reverbs, getting. I'm like,
oh my God.
Like most people would be partying right now. Are you with anybody? He's like, no, I'm by myself. Mm-hmm. I think the place is haunted. I was like, this guy.
Fucking ghost hunters, bro.
Yeah, and he FaceTimes in pitch black and shit. I'm just like, I was like, all right, but you know what? I can respect that. I kind of, but like, I was like, all right, this guy, you know, he's serious about his shit. It's like he wants to go get, man. You know, he wants to go get his reverb. So shit. I'm like, all right, cool guy, get your shit, get your reverb, my boy.
Interesting. That is that actual old plantation all got knocked down, fenced up, so they might rebuild it. I know it's already owned by someone, but
no shit.
It was a trip, bro. Like it was like a legit like you ever seen the Conjuring? Maybe Conjuring, like just picture the like Amityville Horror House or Conjuring. This one of those that it's just like a big plantation, bro.
No shit.
Had one gigantic house in the middle. It looked like they had like slaves there, like in the 1700s. Like for real though, bro. Like I'm
and this guy's over there fucking on a Friday night. I'm just like, all right though, but I respect it though. Like,
wow, interesting.
Yeah.
How about you, Skooba? So, what are your final thoughts, man?
I mean, shit. Well, all the points we talked about. Stay true to yourself. Stay one with yourself. At the end of the day, if you're not right with yourself, you can't be right with nobody. Fucking what else? Don't buy DMT from the shops. That shit is trash. Freaking yeah. I mean, just start tuning in more often because next week I want to talk some actual ghost and alien shit, and I'll actually send you pictures. That way you could actually show everybody.
Oh yes.
So we develop opinions, and I'll tell you the story and all that.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, definitely start tuning in more. Follow us at what we're doing. You know, shit. Stay good.
Come check us out. Yeah. Come check us out. Hey, I'm inviting everybody right now, especially you too, Edgar. You know, come jam out with us. You know what I mean? Come have a session with us.
Yeah.
Like, let's see what we can do right here. I'm pretty sure there's something we could do. We got a lot of toys right here.
Where the studio is located, and of course, DM for more info.
So
it's actually where I grew up, so I'm very familiar with the place. And I'm just like, you guys are over here. This is such a trip because I would never think that people would have actually devoted themselves to this craft in a very needy environment such as, you know, that place. And I mean, if Sound Olympus was available like 20 years ago, that would have been our spot, man, because I was playing in bands constantly in that area, and we had to drive all the way down to Santa Fe Springs, Riverside, just to get studio time. And for you guys to come in and then just keep it, I guess, hybridly traditional is what I use, because it's no longer reel to reel, it's no longer ADAT, it's not even cassette tape. You bring a different element with not only the education and the skills you guys gain, but also the artistic standpoint that you guys know about, because I still have your autographed copy of Sacred Blasphemy, Chuux.
Hey, that's right.
You autographed it for me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you need to sign this for me, because I don't know what's gonna come out of this, so I'm gonna save it. It's still in my drawer.
Yeah, that dude. We had some production from Big Duke from the Psycho Realm.
Yes, shout out to Big Duke.
Yes, they had a. Yeah, you know, they did their thing. My respects to them. They're like a respectful group, you know.
I followed them since I was a kid too. I know I'm a lot older than you guys, but you know, growing up, and you know, not only City Terrace, not only South Central, but also right there in that area, East LA Commerce, anywhere by the freeways, I like to call it, because I was a freeway kid growing up. Those are two groups that you heard about with Psycho Rum and Cypress Hill. And you know, while in the midst of all the gangster rap that's going on, you know, it was, you know, all my black homies were saying, "Oh, check this out," and you know, no Latinos, no Chicanos are really coming out of the woodwork and doing shit until they came out. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. We can do this too. Awesome. And no disrespect. And it wasn't anything like a race war or anything like that. But it was just like, hey, like, you know, we can do it. You know, it's an art form. Let's take a crack at it. Let's just add our own style for it. Basically what it was is it was like a reverse engineering of a style. And it stuck, dude. And to this day, I mean, I've seen one of B Real's paychecks from a smoke out tour when I met him at the Rainbow Bar and Grill back in 2004. That guy was making $100,000 an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and he showed me the check. He didn't cash it at that time. And he told me why. And it was, he used the word, save it for taxes because we work independently. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I didn't know, like, till later, to when I met you guys, that, dude, even big artists are still, they're either S Corps, LLCs, or DBAs. They just find a way to not only just pay themselves, but also pay as little as tax as possible without the fear of getting audited. I mean, you still got to pay taxes back. You still got to account for your deductions. But when you're making $100,000 an hour, you best believe the IRS is going,
yeah.
Where my money at? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But be sure you also follow them on Instagram, guys. Skooba, Chuux, and of course Sound Olympus. And again, I want to thank you guys for being on. We're gonna run it back because obviously we've been on a roll with this shit. I mean, now that I got Larry on the podcast, so let's shoot for maybe, if not next week, the following week. I'll give you guys a topic, and maybe Skooba can fill us in on some pictures too of some of the paranormal shit he fucking found. So, but nonetheless, hey, thanks for tuning in, guys, and thank you two for being on. We'll see you in a couple days.
Appreciate that.
Peace.